I think it's up and running.
Hold on a second here. Let me. I have to refresh Twitch.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and.
Well, it says you're streaming. Join.
Yeah. There's a thing. There's a function on there, like that blank box is supposed to be showing like the names of who's talking when they're talking, but it doesn't seem to wanna. Oh wait, there it is. Fixed it. Yay! Nice.
Oh, there we go. That's weird.
Yeah, weird.
It's got like the overlay up, but oh, there we go. I got it.
Yeah.
Okay. I figured out what I'm doing here. Oh, okay. That box is showing us. I see. I see what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm just posting all the stuff in the various channels that I can post this stuff in.
Yeah.
Do. This one here. I'll put in there. I think that's it. I don't want to spam it too many channels because people will get a little upset about that sort of thing. So I won't do it. Yeah, I don't know how many people we're gonna have. Originally, I wanted to have a certain friend in here who's been having kind of a rough time lately, but he's not feeling so great today and doesn't want to put himself on camera or anything like that. So I understand. I get it. So I won't.
Yeah, I can understand that too.
Yeah. Are you working or are you
Technically working, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know how my job is. Like, I don't. I can do other stuff, dude. I've watched like full-on fucking movies and stuff while I'm working.
Yeah.
Like I actually spent like most of a shift watching like 7 hours of all of the God of War cutscenes from the game.
We got someone in chat here mistaking me for a playboy right here. I think you got the wrong guy.
Well, it depends on which issue you were in, man. I mean,
Oh.
there's like, you know, you got Playboy now, and then you got Playboy from like a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like where, I don't know, like people that were like in porn and stuff like a long time ago look like just your average Joe motherfuckers.
Yeah,
like,
they're just
have, like, guys. They just look like a dude who's a carpenter.
just a guy who they happen
he has a mustache.
Just a guy they happen to like get like he just wandered on set as they were setting up and they're like, all right, what's your name? Frank, you're up, man.
It's what I think of like when I see like NFL players from like the 60s and 70s. They all look like 45 years old, and they're like, that dude's 21 years old and just got out of college. He looks like he's a dad of 3 kids and he's over his marriage.
It was a harder time.
Because now you've got like the guys that are in the NFL, and I'm like, well, they still look older. Like they all look older than I do.
Yeah.
Like you look at like Patrick Mahomes, and he looks older than me, but the dude's like 5 or 6 years younger than me.
So
I'm like, fuck, man, what have I been doing?
Steel Dragon Fist clarifies he meant playa. So like,
yes,
playa.
Yeah,
playa.
like Tom Cruise from the fucking Tropic Thunder.
I'm gonna have to shave my head, get that like balding kind of look that he's got.
That balding, fucking that bald cap he's wearing. He's wearing like big prosthetic fake arms.
Oh
to
yeah,
hands or whatever.
Yeah, he's got him on his chunk mitts. He's got him on his body. He's got so many prosthetics on in those scenes that he's in.
It's so
Absolutely
funny because I
ridiculous.
watched that movie with my parents a long time ago, and they were like confused about that character because they were like, "Man, that guy looks like really familiar," and they didn't figure it out. And then we got into the credits of the movie, and it says fucking Tom Cruise because it says like the credits where it shows like a quick clip of the character from the movie doing something, and it's like
name across the bottom.
Yeah, exactly, and it was like him dancing, and it's like Tom Cruise.
And they're like, what?
They're like, oh, what, dude?
Like, how is this a thing? How is this possible?
Right.
It's pretty funny. I haven't seen that movie in a while, actually. Like, I actually want to pop it in sometime because it's always good. It's always.
Maybe we can watch it when I come out.
Oh yeah, that'll be awesome.
It off and we can watch it. Like when we were trying to watch Kung Pao and we couldn't.
Yeah.
I think wasn't it like one time I came out and for some reason we couldn't.
Yeah, it wouldn't. It wouldn't stream for some reason, and I don't know
and then
why.
The next time I came out, we were able to watch it. It's funny. We had to watch it 6 months apart.
Yeah.
32. Yeah, the power going out was funny because like I was at the sink in the bathroom and the lights went off for like 2 seconds, then came back on. Then they did it again, 2 seconds, came back on. Then they just kind of kept doing it repeatedly. That's weird. In the game Phasmophobia, when the ghost starts to hunt, that's exactly what happens. Like lights flicker, and I was like, "Am I being haunted right now? Like, what's going on, man?" But I was like kind of annoyed because I got back in. I didn't even think about it. I was like, "Oh yeah, the power went out, so my TV's off, my system's off, so." The game turned off, and I'm like, man, I hope it saved because like I'm in a cutscene right after a boss fight, and I don't want to have to do that fucking fight again.
So, I got someone asking me if I can put my leg behind my head. Only if I intend. Only if I intend to keep it there for the rest of my life. It will. It's not coming back. It's not coming back once we get it up there.
He in fact can put his leg behind his head.
Yeah. It's definitely not something I'm going to attempt in this chair though. I don't know if this chair would make it through the attempt. And I definitely need this chair to survive. It's a
failure that both of you will suffer through together.
Oh man. What an odd question. I like it. Can I put my leg behind my head?
I mean, apparently, just from your headshot here, you look like somebody who could accomplish that feat. So I think you're doing pretty well.
Well, and then the other day when I was playing Skyrim, I apparently, just by my headshot, looked like someone who might rape someone, absolutely terrible. I don't for anyone who wasn't in that stream. So what happened is, I'm just sitting here playing Skyrim. Someone comes in and is like, "You look like." And then that, and I don't want to say it too many times, or otherwise Twitch might, get upset about it.
Yeah, honestly, I actually, as your mod, should have probably deleted that comment and or banned that guy. I didn't catch it at first until you brought it up.
I think I maybe saw it like 5 minutes after it had scrolled into the chat. I was
you asked if he was still here, and I was like, he is not.
He is not.
So you came in here just to say that and then leave.
Yeah, and then just leave. just tell me I look like someone on SVU or something. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, dude. Someone that Ice-T is confused about.
Yeah. And I'm not super offended
telling me this guy gets off on little girls with pigtails?
I wasn't even offended. I was more confused than anything. And my wife is like, I don't know if I could stream and handle people like that. I don't know if I could do that.
My wife is like, yeah, I kind of see it too.
She's like, yeah. You know what? I think I'm going to have to file for divorce now. No,
you know what? I'm already on the phone with the cops.
She's like, I don't. She's like, I don't know if I can handle comments like that. And I was like, well, I mean, you can't take it to heart. You just got to ignore that stuff. It's goofy. People are just being goofy. If they're actually like legit trying to harass you, it's easy to 2 clicks and they're gone forever. Never see them again.
Yeah, and even if you don't like those comments and you like, I don't think I can handle it. It's like just like. Ditch them, like get rid of them, like dump those motherfuckers out of your goddamn stream.
Just blast them.
It's just people are fucking dorks and always want to try to get a rise out of a streamer. They just pop in, say some stupid shit to see if they can like have like 10 seconds of fame and or attention.
Yeah. Boop, 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 boop. Alright, what do we got here? Someone messaging me. Oh, okay. Just giving me a nice little update on some work. Okay. Oh, is that the man himself? The myth? The legend?
And the fuck. the I was gonna say the big cock ever, but I shouldn't lie.
How you doing? How you feeling? You took that painkiller, kind of knocked you on your ass. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm a little out of it. I'm a tiny out of it, but I figured if Kurt Cobain could do MTV Unplugged off a like what I could only assume is a gallon of heroin.
Yeah, if Kurt Cobain can do it, you can do it. It's not.
I think they measure heroin in gallons. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Right?
I'm pretty sure that's the smallest unit. In fact,
it starts at gallon and it works its way up to pallet.
When you're Kurt Cobain, that's what it is.
A pallet of heroin.
Pallet. Jesus.
A charcuterie with heroin.
Where are you getting these units of measurement?
Out on the street, we just call it the Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
They just hand you a milk jug full of heroin.
It's like that whitest gives you no skit, the gallon of PCP.
Here you are, one Kurt Cobain of heroin.
Thank you.
Oh, Jesus. So aside from the get knocked on your ass by pain meds, how you doing?
I'm alive, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah. That's generally the consensus amongst most people right now, all the way through last March. I think is pretty much where everybody was at on that.
Yeah, like I kept waking up and falling asleep, and I just like had this routine where as soon as I open my eyes, I'm like, all right, I get to see what's going on in the world, and then I look at what's trending on Twitter, and then I just get falling back asleep. So like one moment I'm awake and I'm like, all right, let's see. Oh, Dr. Seuss just walked up. Okay, and then I go back to sleep, and I woke up. And Crystalia is facing charge for nominations. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to stop referencing him. I reference that video all the time. Like I was doing it yesterday in your stream and everything.
Yeah.
I was when I say the looking and staring at mannequins thing.
Are you on your phone or on the computer?
Oh, why do I sound a little fucked up?
It's just
the audio is a little weird.
Breaks up a little bit. It's funny because it's like sometimes it's crystal clear, and sometimes it breaks up a little bit. So I was just wondering.
All right, give me like 1 minute.
All right.
Sound good right now.
Yeah, it goes in and out. It's weird. I don't know what the deal is there. I see Brim creeping in. How you doing, Brim?
I'm not here.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Oh, okay.
I'll see you later.
I'm like a fucking shadow.
Oh, that's very edgy.
Yeah, it's a little too edgy, isn't it?
A little too edgy.
Yeah, tone it down.
3
I'm wearing glasses. I don't often wear glasses, so like I feel like I have to like
Okay.
have a different personality now.
Yeah, that does make a little sense. I'll allow it. Even if it's 3 edgy, 5 me, I'll allow it.
Even if.
I really appreciate that. See, Ren, you are super considerate. How was everybody's evening?
Not doing too bad.
No.
I'm alive.
Well, that's good.
It's like bare minimum good.
Shit. I'm playing some Dead by Daylight.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I'm not
I
playing this.
play that game more than probably any game I play at this time.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't play as much. I think I have like 2,000 hours in on.
Oh, that's a lot more than me. I don't know. I play it on PlayStation, so I don't know what my hour count is, but it's got to be 600 or 700 hours, maybe.
I mean, I've had this game for long enough to justify it, I think. Ooh, get pallet slam, bitch.
I haven't played it. I've watched a lot of streams of it. It looks like a fun game.
I'll probably play it when I come out there.
Yeah.
I'll play it on your Xbox or something.
Yeah.
Man, I can't believe you haven't played this game.
It looks good, but so sometimes I'll look at a game and I'll see something that I could probably get sucked into and lose a lot of time on. And
Yeah.
so it's one of those games where I'm like, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't like dangle that piece of meat in front of me,
Because it's exactly that kind of game.
Because if I do,
I mean,
I might not get work done.
yeah.
And it's also definitely not a game I can play around the kids. So,
No, it's definitely like to get into a match, and if you like.
It's a game that I can play around your
frustrating,
kids.
no, please don't.
It's
That's
not that violent.
well, it's
I was thinking like Call of Duty Zombies is way
It'd
worse
probably
than
scare them still.
yeah. My kids are
It's not that scary.
stupidly empathetic in certain situations.
Oh,
Yes, they
that's
are.
a horrible way of saying that your kids are sensitive.
Yeah, yeah.
Stupidly.
Remember one of them crying about an ant for a little bit.
Yeah. So you've seen
Ants are important.
Ant-Man, right, Brim?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so there's this one part in Ant-Man. Ant-Man's riding a flying ant and flying off to do his thing, and the ant gets hit by I can't remember, but it kills it instantly, and Ant-Man goes flying off the thing. But Ant-Man had like named this ant like Antony. He'd named it.
Oh, that's so cute.
He'd bonded with it, and then it dies, and my daughter
That's
loses
tragic.
it. She cannot handle it. She's like, what happened to Antony? And it's like,
Here's the moment where you have to tell her what death is.
Wow. I would have totally lost my shit had I watched that movie and that ant died.
Yeah, it was
Just
pretty
saying.
bad. And my middle child is even worse. My middle child picks up on those cues without them having to. Like she's much younger, and she doesn't speak very well, but she picks up on the cues very, very intuitively. So if someone's in pain, or someone's getting hurt, or someone's dying, or someone's sad on the TV, she gets upset about it. She doesn't want something like that. So we can't put on like true crime documentaries when she's awake at all, because she picks up on that stuff immediately and empathizes. So it's
I mean, that's
can't do it.
kind of amazing. Like that's a pretty impressive skill to have.
Yeah, she's a pretty sensitive kid, but we just gotta be careful. We've had to be had to have been careful with our oldest one, because she's like, we go through the Marvel movies because my wife and I really like watching all the MCU movies, and the last couple, when you get characters dropping like flies, it's rough.
Yeah,
it's rough for her, because she she's grown to like these characters over all this time, and she knows who these characters are, and then they start dying. So it's
I think the last Marvel movie I watched was Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So I haven't really kept up on it.
that's another one that really set her off, actually, when Star-Lord's fighting his dad in Guardians 2. She lost it. She's like, why is he killing his dad? And it's
because Kurt Russell's a bad man.
we were like, well, he's not a good dude. He's not a good dude. He wants to kill a planet. So I mean,
Yeah, he's got to go.
Yeah, he's the greater good and all that.
I just remember like watching that movie and like turning to my boyfriend and thinking like, man, Kurt Russell's hair, like, it's always luxurious.
It is.
Like, even in
For
the
real.
thing.
He does have phenomenal hair.
Like, you couldn't escape his hair. It's amazing.
Yeah, I wish I had hair that good. I mean, right now my hair gets out of control if I let it grow out. It just turns into this like thing, and I look like my mom, and it's not great. It's not great. I gotta change out
my
this.
My hair's gotten straighter as I've gotten older.
My wife's got curlier, like, or not I don't know if you would use curlier or wavier, but after she got pregnant the first time, her hair just started doing crazy stuff. Just yeah. So. Yeah,
I've heard that happening for some women. And then my mother-in-law got cancer and all of her hair fell out, and when it grew back in, it's like almost corkscrew curls. It's crazy.
Wow.
And she had like straight hair.
That's crazy. Maybe like a change in the chemical balance of her body causes the hair to get all screwy. I don't know. This shelf behind me, I think I got to do something. My wife said, "Oh yeah, you got to change out that shelf behind you in your office." And I was like, "Oh, why?" And she's like, "Oh, it's bowing really bad." And now I'm looking at it. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, it's not doing great."
It is bowing.
Yeah, it's not doing great. So
I mean, you can go like the hardware store and get those support brackets or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I could do that as like a short-term fix. We're supposed to go and redo this whole area because this is the garage right now, and it's a 4-car garage. Over that way is a bunch of space. Like this is not a lot of space. What you see in the field of view on the camera is pretty much the space that we have for the office. And I have this tarp over here that kind of keeps in the heat in the winter, the cold in the summer. But we got a whole garage that's just really open, and my sister and I are talking about putting in an actual wall, not here but a little further over, that actually encloses the office area. And I would really like to redo the walls behind me, because you can see where there's an old shelf, and then I put a shelf in front of a shelf. Those shelves are nailed into the wall. The guy who lived here before us basically thought he was a handyman. This whole back garage area was just a shit show. We had workbenches that were just nailed in. And I mean, like, I don't mean like, oh, here's a nail here, here's a nail here. Like, the dude had just went ape shit with nails. We wanted to actually cut the shelf out instead of trying to rip it out. And my roommate and I, we worked on it like for, I want to say 2 hours. Just, we had to get in here with a sledgehammer, knock stuff loose, pull all these nails out, and everything was like rusted and shitty. So yeah, if we redo this area, I want to get those shelves torn out. I mean, maybe put some other shelves in, but this is like unfinished wood, so you got like, you can get splinters from it and crap. It's not deep enough where it's useful. Like, I can't put books on those shelves. So yeah, it's crap. That's my shelf rant. Hope you enjoy it.
I mean, having a good set of shelves is very important for an adult.
Yeah, it is.
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
It really is. We talk about the things that we get excited about as adults now, because my wife got me this scrubby brush for the dishes, and I went and tried it for the first time.
Like a new scrubby brush.
And I was like, oh, that's a good scrubby brush, bud. That's a good brush. I was just like on the pan, just working the.
Ever since my sister moved in, she has kids, and she has this like scrubby thing that's on a stick. And I know, like, you know, those aren't like super uncommon, but like I'd never had one. I've always like used a sponge.
Mm-hmm.
I won't go back.
Yeah,
that thing is dope.
Yeah, especially getting down into cups and glasses and stuff. Like, wow, I ain't use a sponge again.
My sister's overhearing me. It's not embarrassing if I have no shame. You know?
There you go. There you go. If you got no shame, you got no shame. So speaking of no shame, it's kind of an odd story. I don't know how anyone's going to receive it. Okay. It's
well, we're here for it.
Might be funny, might not be funny. I don't know. I wish Donovan was here to back me up, because, yeah. So, someone made a joke the other day about people being like panty sniffers, and I realized that because I do the laundry for my family, I have become a panty sniffer. Because if I find laundry just strewn about, right? What do you do when you find laundry and you're not sure? You give it the sniff test, right?
I mean, do you go full crotch in though?
No, I'm not like. No, I kind of like give it a little tentative, kind of like, you know, you don't want to really touch it. You just kind of give a little sniff, because you really don't want to bury your nose in like anyone's undies.
What you're into.
But
some people are really into that.
But I am like probably one of the world's only like reluctant panty sniffers. Like I don't want to do it, but my duty requires that I must. So I have to get in there and, you know, like, no.
I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
This is what I signed on for. Oh, God. Oh, and he just fucking wrecked my shit.
Yeah, oh, and he's such a bitch.
You were talking about panty sniffing, and I just want to admit that, like, I was holding my nephew.
Yeah.
About 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
We like to watch Korean videos of them making like waffles on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
He loves it.
Oh, some of those are really good. Like, I actually subbed to like a channel like with a Korean guy, and he just does like simple things like making like a fried rice and shit like that. And I'm like, I gotta like actually try some of these out.
Oh, dude, I like to go to sleep to, it's just like no talking. It's just like them like making like Korean desserts. They're so decadent and ridiculous, and I want every
Just
single one of them.
heard you getting hooked in the background.
I die.
Talking about decadent desserts while someone's getting murdered in the background.
I can do both. But you're talking about panty sniffing, and I've totally turned into that like baby sniffer person.
Oh, yeah.
Like I just had like
Smelling babies.
it was like over this kid's like head,
Yeah.
just like inhaling off of it.
Yeah. My sister does that. She'll come over, she'll grab up my baby, and she'll be like, I just need a little bump.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's so good.
The bits off a baby's head every night.
Yeah. Just a little. Just to take the edge off a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
We talking
well,
about snipping
seriously.
babies or snipping panties?
All right. Well, a little of both.
Are we snipping babies' panties?
Well,
Oh God.
No.
funny you should mention that. Depending on what stage they're at, sometimes you have to sniff the baby panties while they're on the kid because you smell something in the room and you're like, "Who
Can
is?"
we not call them baby panties, please?
Listen, I don't think you understand. This generation likes to be called baby.
So, like, you smell something in a room, you're like, "Who is that? Which one of you is that?" You gotta pick them up one after the other, and you have to kind of give like a little sniff, and you're like, "Ah, it's you, it's you."
I don't
You're
trust
the
the
one.
sniff test. You gotta like actually like take a peek back there because sometimes it could just be like a really intense.
Yeah, my youngest, my baby, really blows it up in the evening sometimes. She'll just be sitting there just pumping farts into her diaper, just one after the other. And you think she shit herself, and no, it's just gas. Just baby gas.
Yep. The best is like when you're holding them in a way it's where like they fart on you and it like they kind of feel like little tiny like pellet. Like, a little airsoft gun going off
Just
against your arm.
firing an airsoft gun into your arms. You're like holding them to just
Yep.
poof. Oh, what was that?
It's ridiculous shit.
Donovan, are you just on audio or are you streaming too?
Oh, I'm just on audio right now.
Nice. Okay, cool. I didn't know if I should like set up like another link or tweet or something mentioning your thing or not.
No, you're okay, but I'm gonna. Did you tweet out your stream?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to. So I made a second Twitter account for doing stuff like that because if I link my normal Twitter, my work Twitter, to my Twitch, that's a ban right there. That's and it same with like
Oh, for
YouTube
sure.
and other stuff. So I made a whole second account specifically for that.
Bud?
Well, you know, there are certain risque things posted on my account that I cannot have linked.
And titties.
Yeah.
Ass and titties.
Yeah, I actually the other day I was looking at my YouTube channel because my YouTube channel is just where I'm like basically archiving all the Twitch stuff. I don't do anything else with it. I would like to do other stuff with it, but that requires me like learning editing and shit like that. And I don't know, maybe not. So, I was looking at my my YouTube channel because sometimes Twitch will double post to my YouTube channel, so I checked to make sure it hasn't double posted. And I saw on one of my old videos, I think it might actually be with Donovan, or it was around that time where we were doing a lot of the Among Us streams, and my daughter found it on YouTube, and that got like there's nothing on there that you can't have that's policy breaking or anything like that on YouTube, but it got me to thinking like she's gonna start plugging my name into things soon, either at school or on some other like device that she has access to. She normally uses my mother-in-law's phone for that stuff, so I had to go through all my accounts and make sure that everything was properly age gated, everything was 18 and up and all this other stuff, so that she's not stumbling on stuff that she shouldn't, and more importantly, she's not telling her friends to go look for me or anything like that and they stumble on something, and then I end up like I just go upstairs one day and I got like a crowd of townspeople with pitchforks and torches and stuff out there ready to take me out. Just a whole like Mormon mob of angry villagers.
I think Mormons are too nice to create a mob and pitchforks.
Outside of Utah, yes. Inside of Utah, they're emboldened because they call the shots on just about everything. So
I don't know if you could hear James's mocking as I said that.
Yeah. I don't want to talk shit about them. It's not good. It's very
my next door neighbor is a Mormon.
very bad generalization. And my neighbor is one of the best guys I've ever met, actually, and he's Mormon. So it's just a joke, people. No one go and try and cancel me or report me to the Mormons.
I don't like the majority of people.
So this one time, these missionaries come up to my house. This is when my garage was set up for D&D. We're just out here playing D&D at the table. I had the garage door open, letting it cool off because it was kind of hot in here. And I go out and I move the sprinkler in my front yard, and I see these missionaries come up. One of them locks eyes with me. And I'm like, oh, crap. So I get back into my garage. They're coming down the driveway, right? And I go right up to the button where the garage is, and I just hit the button as, like, he starts talking to me, and I hit the button, like, mid-sentence, and I'm just, like, looking him dead in the eye the whole time. Hit the button. Garage door's closing. Dude is legit, keeps talking, and is, like, leaning over like this, trying to get under, like, the garage to talk to me. And then finally it closes, and we all bust up laughing. Like, geez, this guy was really dedicated. This is ridiculous. Donovan, you got anything you want to talk about? Any pressing issues?
Yeah. You ever have like a mom that comes in here when you're doing something and it's just being so rude and so disrespectful, right, Mom?
It's a bitch.
What?
You're talking.
Yeah, I know.
Am I bothering you? Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm just saying.
I gave you life.
Man, that's not a gift.
That's not a gift.
It's not. I give you the gift of life.
It's a curse.
Really?
That's funny. Tell your mom I love her, though. I like your mom.
Mom, everybody loves you.
Yeah.
Except I don't. I don't.
I do.
No, you don't.
I mean, he does now that he discovered that she can bestow curses onto other human beings.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
My mom made light, but she wasn't good at it.
Well, she needed practice. That's all she needed.
The test run. It was
It was a dry run.
I'm gonna talk shit. I want to know.
You weren't good at making a baby the first time around. Okay, and you want me to be thankful for that?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh,
I'm not walking at all.
How do I fight this thing? Hold on.
Wait, I thought you were working. Are you working, playing video games, and talking on the stream right now?
I'm on break right now, but I will also be playing video games and working and talking on the stream when I get back from break. Yeah.
That's peak performance right there.
I'm pretty good at it.
So what is a break then?
Like half an hour of me not being at the computer that I work at.
Fair enough.
That's it. Yeah, it's basically just an excuse to get up and walk around for a minute, and then sit back down, I guess.
Yeah, this is the one I'm talking about. How do I fight this fucking thing?
And you don't have to go in till next week, right?
Back to work, you mean?
Yeah, or into the office. You don't have to go back in until next week.
Not until the next week I work. I mean, after this week, I don't go back to work until the 21st.
Yeah, you're gonna be out here for a while, like a long while, actually. When do you get here, by the way? What date?
Friday morning.
Friday morning. All right, and then you're not going back until the 21st. Yeah, dude, that's a good vacation right there.
Saturday, the 20th, I think, is when I go back. So
Nice.
Saturday, and it's Saturday morning, I think I go back.
That's a solid vacation. Yeah.
What do you do for work?
I work in item processing for a bank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a better description of your job would be you fix other people's bullshit at a bank.
Yeah, that is what I do actually.
I feel like that has a pretty you're never like out of work.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fucking that shit up.
They keep laying people off though. They keep laying them off and just giving more work to the people that are still there. And
oh yeah, so cutting down the people that work there but giving everybody else overtime.
Yeah.
Do you have any like good work stories? Like any funny?
I mean, the only things I can really say is that like the way that people still write checks, it's almost like they find a way to write worse than the original cavemen who discovered that they could write on rock walls. Like, I've seen some shit and I'm like, this person is an adult, apparently. But I've seen some checks that just look like they have their kids write their checks for them.
Maybe I'll do that at some point.
Have your kid write a check.
Once they get to a certain age, just start having my kids write checks. That'd be good.
Before you get to that old man age where you can tell that they're an old man because the writing is all like zigzaggy because their hand is shaking. I get a lot of those too.
Yeah.
Oh, you tried Demogorgon. You tried.
You got a Demogorgon in that game?
Yeah, Demogorgon's in the game.
I'm looping him around the killer shack right now.
That's pretty cool though.
Steve and Nancy are in it too. Yeah, but I only get to fight it with Cloud by himself, so now what?
One of my favorite things about Stranger Things is that the creators get a lot of shit for making it like overly 80s, like so 80s that even people from the 80s are like, calm down.
Dude, season 3 was a little bit much.
I liked it. Aesthetically, it was nice.
I loved it, but I can also acknowledge that it's like they took 80s and then they like tripled it.
Yeah, for sure.
I mentioned you in a in a tweet there, Donovan, just to give you a little extra credit. Said also we got Donovan in here too, I guess. Yeah, he's in there. He's in the mix.
That's about how I feel about it too.
Yeah, one of my other friends earlier was talking about how Stranger Things should have been like an anthology series. Like each season should have been like a different set of events. Like even if you still want to keep it in the 80s, like a different set of events.
Ooh, which yeah,
that would have been pretty cool. I mean, I do like it the way it is, but I can't deny that would have been pretty fun because season 1 is still, I think, the best season. I don't hate the other seasons like some other people do, but yeah, it would have been, if you could like maintain that level of like I don't know, anxiety that season 1 gave you,
yeah,
but with every season, that would have been nice.
Yeah, because really the only major like flaw that I personally had with any of the series was that second season when you could tell they were really forcing like those side characters, hoping that people would like them to get a spin-off show.
Yeah. Yeah.
I fucking hated that.
Yeah.
It was too much.
A little much, yeah.
But I like the idea of anthology for that. I think I just like anthology things in general.
Yeah. I think it might be a more popular format because, I mean, you got American Horror Story makes it work really well. And I think a lot of people stayed away from it because they don't want to be like, oh, we're just copying American Horror Story. But then you get like Haunting at Hill House and Haunting at Bly Manor. They're anthology series and they're using the same actors, same thing. And it's still good. You know, I don't think anyone basically sat there and was like, oh, that's a ripoff of American Horror Story. I don't think anyone actually thought that, so.
I feel like I'm the only person in the whole world that actually doesn't like American Horror Story.
I've only watched like a couple seasons of it, and they're not even like seasons 1 and 2. It's like season 2 and 4 or something like that. Like just completely the only reason I watched them was because my friend Steve was watching them at the time. That's it. That's the only reason I was watching them. And I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, that's not bad. So
Certain seasons are fine. Like I like the Asylum. That
Yeah.
was a good season.
yeah.
I watched the second season and the third. Was that third one? The Coven.
Yeah, the Witches one was good
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I just remember being like super disappointed because like the first episode, like the beginning of it, was like set like in like I don't know, like the 1800s plantation, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a great setting, and then it goes like the modern times, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
fuck
it
this.
would have been super cool back then.
Yeah. I can't get into them.
I think you might actually get a couple questions in the chat here, Donovan. So just keep an eye on it if you're not already in the thing.
Yeah, this is my stream now. Thanks.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll just bye.
See ya. Have a good night.
Hi, Rob.
I got it all set up for you. Good to go, bud. I'll check in like an hour and see if your fingers are all pruny and stuff. We'll get you out.
Okay, how many flashbacks that gave me?
Oh man, I think I took my first like legit bath in a long time, like a couple nights ago actually, because my body was all like sore and shit. So I'm like, maybe if I soak in some like a hot bath, it'll feel better.
Yeah.
I get the whole thing going. You know, I get little bubbles in there. I'm like, I haven't done this in a while. Soak down into the thing, and immediately like the water level rose like 3 inches, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember why I don't do this like this. And it just starts going into that overflow thing, and I was like, man, not feeling this. I could hear it leaking and all this. No, I'm not doing this again.
Baths are simultaneously the most underrated and overrated things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife and I went for Valentine's Day. We just fucked off out of town down to Salt Lake, and we just got a hotel room away from the kids where we don't have to do anything. It's like someone will get you some food or whatever, and they had a huge soaking tub there. So we actually like got a chance to soak in that. It wasn't an actual bath. It was just like, you know, sitting there in hot water, and the tub was so deep, and I was like, I need to get one of these at home. I can't pass on something like this anymore. My tub that I have right now is like, it's like squatting in the sink with like like a little like faucet thing. You're just like, I guess I'm clean now. Like
That reminds me of like those old people baths
yeah.
that are like bathtubs that are like super tall and they have like a door, and then you just sit down and let the fucking water rise up to like right below your neck.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting.
Yeah, I'd love to have a tub like that. That would be fantastic.
And then you're basically just a few chunks of carrots and celery from being a stew at that point.
Yeah, it's just cut them on up, throw them on in. It's fine. It's fine. This is fine.
It's a soup.
Yeah, it's a soup. I did like that. Normally, when I take a shower, you know, you hold on to the scent of whatever your soap is. Maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and then after that, it just wears off. After soaking in a tub, though, I was like an hour later. I was like, that's still nice. That's still delightful.
Oh yeah.
I think it's been like at least a year since I've had a bath.
Well, I felt obligated to take one because a buddy of mine is doing that like thing where he doesn't know what he's doing with his life, so he's jumping into random ventures, and his latest one is homemade bath bombs. And he came by my house and was like, "Here, dude, yeah, I have this for you." And I was like, getting a bath bomb from another guy feels very weird. Like, not to be like weird about it, but like it felt weird. It felt like a weird thing.
Yeah.
But I also felt obligated to try it out because he fucking gave it to me. So when I did it, and it left my bathtub like stained permanently.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
there
was
was
like pitch black.
my one of my, I think both my daughters actually got these bath bombs for Christmas as like stocking stuffers or something, and we tried them out. They're supposed to be like just mostly for color. You know, it's a kid's
Right, yeah.
a kid's bath bomb. Oh, it turns red. Oh, now it turns orange, and so we throw it in there, and you know, they're having fun with it. And I go to get them out of the tub, and they're like greasy. And I was like,
Yeah.
no, we're not. So I had to like drain the water. I had to like spray them down and stuff because it's like you just had these little kids coming out of the tub and they were like slightly like discolored and greasy. And I'm like, why would you? Why? Yeah, slimy. No way. It was terrible. I was like, why would you willingly do this?
No, for sure, because like the bath water feels like different. It doesn't even feel like water. Uh, you know?
So
I mean, I would say like the best bath bomb is the ones that are like made out of Epsom salts. It's when like people start
Right.
adding like real weird shit where it's like it leaves like the tub feeling like slick,
yeah.
like someone greased it.
So, someone in chat here says, "Damn, Crip out here perpetuating homophobic gender norms in the year of our Lord 2024." Apparently,
Well, listen.
we skipped time. We're
if, if,
If a guy gave me a bath bomb, I'd be weirded out.
it's not that it's not even like that. Okay, it would have been homophobic if I took it and then didn't use it, but I did use it.
there you go.
It was just
That's
really
fair.
shitty.
That's true. That's true. I think it would have been really funny if the guy was just like really, like it would almost come full circle because a guy who's just kind of like in the middle is like, "Hey, you want to try my bath bomb?" I could see that being a little weird, just out of the blue. But if it was like you get like a knock on the door and it's just like, "Hey, yo, I got this new bath bomb. It's delightful. It's got a little, just a hint of cherry blossom in it. It'll set you on cloud nine. Here, I'll set it up for you and everything. I'll run the
Yeah,
water.
let me get it. I'm gonna run your bath.
I'll run you a bath.
that's-
You'll love it."
That's not for the bath. That's for ingestion. That's a bath salt.
It's even more weird because like I know the dude because we met up at like the local comic book store.
Yeah.
So like it just adds a whole nother layer of weird because I don't know. He's a good guy. I love the guy to death. Very fun.
But you said he's trying all kinds of like weird like little schemes to try. What was the thing before the bath bombs?
I think it was like homemade like dessert stuff. I know at one point he was making vape juice.
Oh no!
Just-
I don't think you could do that.
It's so like you. At one
You should
point,
try making birdhouses.
you know what? He can
Like
make
legit.
bath. He can make bath bombs for the birds in their little houses.
Yes. Bath bombs for your bird bath.
I shouldn't like it as much as I do, but
I love it.
I think that would actually do very well out in Oregon. I think that would do incredibly well out there.
You know what?
You'd have fish and wildlife on your ass, but like,
So Buster says in chat, the dude's actually just using the same ingredients from the vape juice, desserts, and bath bombs. You should try smoking one of the bath bombs to find out.
we should do it on stream so we can all see you.
Just get destroyed by
Brain
bath
melts.
bombs. Crushed up bath bomb. You just smoke it or snort a line of it, whatever. Just see which way you or
To cook this up.
you get a
Somebody
actually
tie me off.
You gotta get a crack type. That's the first step.
turn it into
Then you
a
gotta get one of those like butane torches, like not like a lighter.
I
like a
have
butane
multiple.
another gallon of heroin like earlier, except it's a gallon of bath bomb.
I'm just outside his house the next day, like scratching my neck, like, "Come on, baby, answer the door."
Oh my god, was that like stuff that people used to take all the time back in like the 90s? Is it HBP?
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
like
I
having
was
a
doing
gallon of
Nesquik back
HBP.
then.
This stuff was like, I don't know, it was almost like drinkable whippets.
Oh, what the fuck, for real?
Yeah.
I mean, no, that's bad. What?
That's
Yeah.
bad. No.
I mean, never mind.
I mean,
What would I
you guys
take?
would totally try it, right?
Yeah, but Buster says you smoke those bath bombs. It's gonna make your brain feel wet. No water needed.
Well, your brain is supposed to be wet, so.
But you're not supposed to feel it being wet.
But imagine if, like, your brain was dry. You'd feel that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to feel that either.
Like, maybe you're always feeling a wet brain. You just don't know anything else.
Yeah.
Stop.
She's like, no, I don't want to think about my wet brain.
No, James, we're not doing PCP. Shut up.
We could try. Never say never. I learned that from
I will
Justin
never willingly
Bieber.
do PCP.
That's worth a shot. Oh man.
Have you guys ever had any of those like stereotypical situations that they warned about in school? Where they're like, "Hey, I'm somebody you don't know. Do you want this hard drug?"
No,
No.
I've
It was
never.
always people that, like, I thought were chill, and then all of a sudden, like, they slip, like, a pill in, like, a baggie, and it's like, oh, you're not chill at all.
You're the opposite.
This guy's going hard tonight.
This is a methadone pill, asshole.
It's like you gotta come up with some sort of like good excuse to just spontaneously leave. Like, oh, I think I left my apartment on fire. I gotta go. I'll see you later.
I think I left my apartment on fire.
Oh,
Oh, fuck, I forgot. I left my kid in the
tend to
tub.
be pretty fucking awkward, so you can just, like, bail. Unless they're not awkward, in which
So-
case it's a very different situation.
someone in chat says I've had someone actually offer me a line of coke, and I couldn't believe that I was in a dare scenario. Like,
I was
Dude,
gonna,
if someone... Oh, no, hold on. If somebody's offering you Coke, it's not Coke.
the,
That is not Coke.
there-
and here,
It's some other white powder.
and here it is exactly why I believe you, because you're right. I've been in that scenario,
Yes,
I
everybody
have.
has.
and it's horrible
Well-
because I'm not like very fluent in Spanish. I just know a bit of it because half Mexican, a little bit, you know.
it's in your genes. It's just yeah.
It just comes naturally, and so
Yeah.
like I was around my grandma, my nana, so like I know a bit of it, enough to like piece together a sentence. And I was at the gas station. That was kind of like during my teenage years, near the mobile where I used to live. It was like the Jay and Silent Bob situation where it was just me and my friends hanging out front, and we made friends with like the employees. And there was a guy that worked that was trying to find a certain alcohol, and he only spoke Spanish. And I, broke that language barrier and helped the guy out. And from the employees' point of view, I'm sure us talking looked like, "Hey, man, thank you. Is there anything you want here? I'll buy it." And me saying, "No, it's okay." But what was actually being said was, "Hey, dude, thank you for helping me out. I have some Coke in my truck. Do you want some?" And I'm like fucking 13, 14.
Like, nah, man, I
No,
gotta.
I'm good. It's
Oh, I thought you
okay.
were gonna say, "Yeah, man."
Well, yeah, I wasn't gonna trust that.
It's
Some cocaine from this guy's car.
It's very sketchy. I picked up all my Spanish in the kitchen of an IHOP when I was working there.
That's where you should learn it. I
Yeah, it was. When I was working at this, I was a server at IHOP, and all of the cooks in the back were Mexican, and we had people who the other servers who learned how to say certain things in Spanish could get things fixed or expedited or anything like that. But if you didn't speak Spanish, you might as well not even exist on that line. You'll get the stuff when you get that stuff. We had this one girl. She was like 17 or something. She was a blonde, and she refused to speak Spanish. She was like, "No, they should be speaking English. Like, I shouldn't have to use their language." And I'm like, well, all right, that's I mean, that's the world. That's the world you want to live in. I'm gonna go learn how to ask for 2 eggs real quick from the manager, and I'll be right back. Because the manager was married to one of the guys in the back, so anytime I needed something, I'd go out there and just be like, "Hey, I need to get Miguel's attention. What do I say?" And she'd just say it, and I'd repeat it, and eventually I started picking up on what certain things meant. But she was teaching me how to say these things rudely, not politely. So instead of me like yelling back to someone, "Hey, I need 2 eggs," I was saying basically 2 fucking eggs right now. So it's like, once I learned that, I was like, all right, well, that's on the manager. If someone who speaks Spanish out in the dining room gets mad about that, that's on you. That's not on me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, person in chat's asking, I used to work at IHOP. Yeah, I used to work at IHOP. It was one of my first jobs out of high school. I moved to Colorado from Maine, and I worked at an IHOP. And for most of the time I worked there, I was doing overnights, so I was pretty much the only server on the floor at any given time. I would take morning shifts sometimes to pick up extra money because that's where the actual money was. But doing a graveyard shift, going right into a morning shift, was brutal. So I did it as little as I possibly could. And I hated coming home smelling like sweaty pancake. It's actually one of the main reasons I cannot do pancakes anymore, is because I associate the smell or even the taste of pancakes with that period of my life where it was just sweaty pancakes all the time.
That's hot. What do you mean?
I kind of want some pancakes right now.
Yeah. My wife hates it because she loves pancakes, and I'm like, no, we're not doing pancakes. And she orders pancakes. I have to like lean away from her, like.
I want a divorce. You disgust me. I miss the woman you used to be. This is a French toast house. I've been watching more of my mom's like Hulu stuff, and she still gets ads and whatnot. And I saw that IHOP is doing burritos now, and they're like, that's their thing.
What?
Yeah. So, so they do them off and on. So IHOP will like get rid of an offer for a little while, and then they'll bring it back like 2 years later or something. When I was working at IHOP, they actually did have a burrito like promotion at the time, and not all IHOPs were created equal in this respect.
Okay.
Because if you had an IHOP that was closer to like Denver, you didn't have a bunch of Mexicans in the kitchen. You had a bunch of white guys.
Right.
Not good burritos. Come out to my IHOP where it's all Mexican all the time, and the guys back there will look at like how the corporate office says to make a burrito, crumple it up, throw it in the trash can, make their own damn burrito, and it's always good. Like we had some really good green chili there. Because they would doctor it, but one of the things that they would have you do is you got this bag of green chili, and you just cut it open, dump it into this bin, and then you would like ladle it out onto a burrito or whatever. And
what's green chili?
Green chili, like think like a salsa verde or something like that. It's good.
It's a not spicy jalapeno essentially.
Yeah, and you still get a lot of the flavor,
yeah.
But not a lot of the spice. And you were supposed to take the bag and cut it, and you were supposed to mix it with like water and something else. And they didn't mix it with anything. They would just throw in like a couple other things of their own or whatever, but they wouldn't mix it with the water. So our green chili was always better than if you just went like 20 minutes down the road to Aurora, and it was awesome. But it was only for like one summer that we had those burritos, and then they discontinued them and moved into whatever their next seasonal promotion was.
See that
you mean? There too, right?
What's that?
They do like burgers there, right?
Yeah, they have burgers. They have like normal stuff for the rest of the day. It's not all just pancakes and breakfast stuff. They have a lunch and dinner menu, and it's smaller. It's not as versatile, but they cycle that one out the most. Their breakfast menu stays pretty much the same, and they'll add to it, but they don't bring a lot of things out. They'll just kind of cycle whatever they're adding. You get like a separate little shitty piece of plastic that tells you like what their thing is, like funnel cakes or whatever.
Oh my god, you're making me so hungry.
I'm just talking about working at IHOP, and you're over. Oh my god, I'm so hungry.
I'm like, talk about the burgers again.
Yeah.
Talk about the burgers.
Man, I feel bad because when you described the way you guys did burritos, it sounds decent. But like in my brain, you know, I hear IHOP doing burritos, and I think about the sad people that are actually excited for that, like that actually go out of their way to physically leave their home to go to an IHOP and say, I would like a burrito. And I feel like if you're that person, it should also come with like a handgun and one bullet.
I don't want to make any enemies here, but like I feel the same way about people that get excited for the McRib.
You know, you're hands down right. I also agree.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever like seen a McRib commercial and be like, oh shit, I gotta go get a McRib now.
There are people that go ape shit for McRibs.
Yeah, I had
It's
a McRib
insane.
once a long time ago, and the thing is it was so mediocre that it didn't leave an impression on me like at all. Like I don't remember whether I liked the McRib or not. I remember I didn't hate it, but because
I think I had like a bite of one in high school and thinking like, ugh.
yeah,
I
I
think
remember
that's
not
the
hating
appeal.
it. That's it. Like
That's what it is. I think everybody like tries it the one time that it comes back, and it's so just average that you're like, huh. And then it goes so long that you're like, wait, did I like that? I don't remember. I'm gonna give it one more time.
you're like I don't remember if I liked that. I guess I'm obligated to eat it again. I mean that's I have to. They made the commercial. I have to do it now.
I mean, even if it tasted good, like I just can't imagine eating something that would make you feel as oh shit. I
There's
shouldn't have
only like one promotional thing that comes out that as soon as it comes out I have to have it, and that's Baja Blast in the 12 packs.
tried. Oh yeah, you're.
Oh
talking
yeah,
about
for
that.
sure.
I think Jordan's still in here. He knows what I'm talking about. Like I'm pretty sure
The
he's
Taco Bell thing, right?
Yeah, the Taco Bell Mountain Dew.
yeah.
I don't eat Taco Bell, so I don't. know much about
Every usually annually around May they'll sell it in 12 packs in stores, and that's the only time you can get it. And sometimes they'll have it like into the summer after they've run out of their stock or whatever, and then it's gone. But when it comes out, I usually buy like 3 or 4 packs at a time. I probably won't this year because I've like really cut myself off from drinking too much soda, so I won't be doing that this year. But I'll be damned if I don't get at least one 12 pack out of it, because last year when the pandemic was first like revving up, they had it for like a week and then it was gone, and they're like, yeah, we're not gonna bother with it because COVID. And I'm like, I hate you, COVID. You've taken everything from me.
I've never tasted it, so I don't. I also don't like sodas, so I'm sure like I probably won't like it.
Are you like the LaCroix people? That
Yes.
Okay, then I won't. I'm gonna stay quiet. Never mind. I'm just teasing.
I do like Polar Waters better though.
You know what? It's like, I understand. I'm not gonna be a dick. I get it.
You could totally be a dick at school. Like I used to drink like a shit ton of coffee, and now I'm like a tea person. I have like a shelf of like teas.
Say you
I
weren't
just
good.
drink
No.
tea and seltzer water, and that makes me a basic bitch. I'm okay with it.
No, and you know what? That's totally fair. I get it.
So-
and for the record, not I like being a dick to you. I don't like being dicks to strangers. Why?
Because I can be a total bitch to a stranger.
Well, yeah, you're a white woman. That's what you're supposed to do.
That's
I'm nice to you.
when she was making her character sheet in the beginning. That's what they gave her as like her racial ability. Is like
Yeah,
just
exactly.
oh, you chose white woman. Yeah, be a bitch to anyone. That's
Yeah,
your
that's your
special
thing.
ability. That's your thing. That's what you can do. Now, when I dropped soda, I started doing like these little flavored water things. You get like these little things in these little containers. You do like a little squirt in the water, and it's
like
good.
Little,
Yeah. They're pretty good. You can get them with vitamins or electrolytes or caffeine or whatever, and they're pretty good. It's just like a little bit goes in there, and it flavors the whole bottle. It's pretty decent.
I'd be concerned how much sugar's in those though.
Well, I was very concerned about that because I was worried
What kind
about
of sugar's in it?
Yeah, so when I was looking at it, I'll look at it right now just before I make any claims without knowing what I'm talking about. They've got sucralose in here. That's about it.
Sucralose?
I don't know what that is. Sounds like it might be a sugar, but it doesn't have like aspartame, which is the one that I was really concerned about, because aspartame is the one where as soon as it makes contact with like your stomach acids, it like divides into like its component things, and they're both carcinogens like on their own. So you don't want to be drinking shit with aspartame. So that's what I was looking for. But the sugar content in here, total sugars is 0%. There's 0 grams of any sugar in here. It's got.
I don't know what sucralose is, but if it's got 0 sugars and it's got sucralose in it, I would say that's probably like a 0 sweetener.
Yeah.
Which I would definitely Google and research for.
It's got some vitamin B, vitamin B12, and then this one that I have specifically has caffeine, because there are some days where you just need caffeine. But most of the ones I have don't have caffeine. I have this one that's like it's an orange vanilla, and it makes my water taste like a little creamsicle. It's very nice. I shouldn't make that motion on camera the way I am. Like
You're fine. You're fine.
I love a good root beer.
Yeah.
And a good ginger ale.
Okay, now the important question is, what's your brand of root beer that you picked then?
IBC.
Which one?
IBC.
IBC? I never even heard of that one.
That one's a pretty good one, actually. I really like IBC. We got
Is it a Southern? Like a Southern thing?
I don't know. I remember seeing IBC when I lived in Maine, though, so I don't think it's a Southern thing. I think it's just kind of like.
Oh, okay. I just looked it up.
Yeah.
This does look good.
They come in like bottles.
Okay, then see, that's automatically good.
Yeah.
I like Buffalo Rock Ginger Ale though. That shit's like spicy.
Yeah. There's one we have here. It's a local one called Dad's Root Beer. And
I see that. Really.
Yeah, that one's really good. That one's nice and smooth. I like that one.
Ryan, I'll send you money. You should send me some.
Yeah.
Not Your Father's Root Beer is so good.
Yeah, that one's pretty good too, actually.
Just like an alcoholic root beer, I'm for it.
Yeah. I tried that one once. I think did my sister get it for me? I don't remember who bought it. It might have been my friend Steve. I don't remember who got it, but it was pretty good. The problem is I can't drink a lot of alcohol because calling me a featherweight or calling me a lightweight would be a insult to those respective categories. Because I can just have like a Mike's Hard Lemonade and I'm like, oh man, I feel great. How you doing today? How you doing? Like,
hey, buddy.
We used
to. I bought a bottle of wine recently, and I had a sip of it, and like 5 minutes later, I was like, "Why is it that like when you take a sip of wine, it immediately like makes you feel drunk?" And she was like, "Lydia, that's not like everybody. That's just you."
That's your brain getting you ready for the drunk period. It's like, all right, well, we know where this is going, so let's just jump right to it. Let's
it like legit makes like your brain warm.
Yeah.
Like that can't just be me.
Yeah, we used to do when we were really Hizzy and Flux and Desan and I, we were all playing Overwatch a lot. We'd do drunken Overwatch things. We'd drink between matches, or we'd drink with certain conditions and stuff like that. I was always the first one to get just trashed, but I'd be doing okay while I was sitting down. But as soon as I stood up to like leave the room, I'd be just smacking off of the walls in the hallway. My wife could smell me from like upstairs, just like how bad it was, and I'm just like, nah, just down into bed when we're done. We don't do those much anymore.
No, I think I got like most of my drinking out of the way before I actually turned 21.
I didn't actually drink any alcohol until after I had turned 21. It was almost a year after I had turned 21 before I had any alcohol of any kind. My
Someone's on the street here.
my my family has a lot of like alcohol related issues on my dad's side. On my mother's side,
high five.
on my mother's side, it's just drunken assholes. I guess we can call that an issue, but legit health issues on my dad's side related to alcohol. So I was very ambivalent about jumping into anything with alcohol at first for a while. So it took me a while to kind of work up to it. And then the first time I had something to drink, my friend Steve gave me Goldschlager, and I got fucked up on that quick, and I ended up just vomiting my brains out that night, and now I can't smell cinnamon without having that association. So every year when every grocery store gets those like pine cones with the cinnamon, they throw it in the front of the store, I gotta go in there like this, or just holding my breath to get past the thing, because if I smell the cinnamon, I'll get nauseous all over again.
That's like me with Fireball.
So apparently we got someone in the chat here who's got to leave, but they want Donovan to explain something about turtle pussy. Do you know what he's talking about?
Oh my god.
Said if he doesn't remember, I cast a pox upon his house. So I don't know if I want to know about turtle pussy, but
No, you really don't
I
want to know about
about
turtle
it.
pussy. You really don't.
just the phrase is vile enough. Actually, it's pretty bad.
Well, I just imagine a cloaca, which is disgusting on its own.
Yeah, cloacas are pretty nasty.
Yeah, I mean, shit comes out of it. And eggs.
And whatever they can cook up, then just out through the one orifice. It's terrible. Oh man. What were we talking about before that? Like I can't. Oh,
Pussy has scrubbed anything from my mind.
me not being able to handle cinnamon. That was the thing. I can't do cinnamon anymore.
I'm kind of the same way, but with Jaeger bombs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I actually hear a lot that people are like that with Jaeger. That's a pretty common thing. So
The night I discovered Jaeger bombs, I don't remember any of it. I just remember waking up naked on my best friend's couch, and he had a leather couch, so I was really sweaty under a comforter. He had no fans or AC, and it was the middle of summer in the Midwest. And I woke up feeling so nauseated.
and you gotta like peel yourself off the leather, like you're sticking to it, and you gotta go a little slow. You're like
I like feeling like some like residual nausea just thinking about that.
Oh yeah, it was terrible. But I was screaming for my friend, and he came up, picked me up, rushed me into his bathroom, and started like a cold shower for me. And I'm like dry heaving, and he's just laughing his ass off.
Oh, what a dick.
It's alright. He bought me 2 McGriddles, and then I was fine.
There you go.
That's it.
That shit will soak up Jaeger.
Oh yeah, and that's the perfect. Like everybody's like, oh, you know what you need to do to cure hangover, and they always have like some weird like dumb concoction. But
Just
really, all you need,
that's all you need.
just get a McGriddle, and you're good.
I mean, it's basically a sponge.
Yeah.
It's a sponge that you eat. That's actually how they make them over at McDonald's. They're just like saving up their kitchen sponges. They kind of flavor it to be vague. Like they put a little cheese on the sponge, and they're like, "There you go." It's the sponge that they use to actually clean the grill at the end of each night. So that's what, and then they throw it between, whatever that the shit is, a biscuit,
Yep.
and then.
I used to work at the McDonald's. I can confirm this is true.
Hey, Gage, how you doing?
How's it going, bud? Sorry, I'm a little late.
No, it's good. This is just kind of like a drop in, drop out kind of thing. We're just screwing around, talking about stuff.
Gage, what was your favorite thing to make at McDonald's?
My favorite thing to make was the eggs, because we had this little carton. It's almost like a cupcake maker, but with eggs. You crack an egg inside this little circle cookie cutter thing, and it makes the egg all circular. It was nice. It was like real food, so that was cool.
It was like real food.
Right.
It's funny that you mentioned. So when I was still in high school, so my dad had taught me this trick, but I didn't really think anything of it until I had this job in high school, where I was working at a cafe that my friend's mom owned. And so we're at this cafe and we're getting everything set up. Like, she opened the cafe when I was there. Like, we were getting everything set up. I got to put some items on the menu, and we were doing breakfast sandwiches. We were figuring out how we're going to do breakfast sandwich, the most efficient way to do the egg. And I was like, yo, just take a mug, crack an egg into it with a little bit of, like, whatever you want in there. Just break it up, put it in the microwave for a minute. You pull it out, you get a little egg patty at the bottom of the mug if it's like a wide mug. You just keep doing that over and over and over. We throw that on toast, we throw it on a bagel, throw it on an English muffin, whatever you want. And it worked every time. I still will do it at home sometimes if I'm like, I want a breakfast sandwich. I'm like, yeah, I have a specific mug that I'll fish out of the cupboard, and I'll just crack an egg into it, and it's good to go. I don't have to actually use a pan.
Nice. What do you guys usually put in your egg mix when you're making scrambled eggs?
So I used to do milk. I used to do like a little bit of whole milk in there with it, but it was coming out a little too... That was how my mom had taught me how to do it when I was a kid, so I was very hesitant to let go of that method. But it was I want to say in 2020, I decided that finally that method sucks. I can't do it that way anymore. And so I actually, I'll throw the egg into the pan first with some, and I'll have butter in there with it. And I'll do it with butter and some green onions. And if I have sour cream, I'll throw some sour cream on at the end, or salsa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There gives it that fluff.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Now, see, now I'm hungry, Brim. Now I'm hungry.
I'm sitting here and my stomach's gurgling.
Yeah.
It's like a gentle gurgle, but it's getting worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So the trick with my eggs is I put a little Worcester sauce in there.
Oh.
That does
Lovely.
That does sound pretty good.
I just like a little
spinach.
bit of salt and pepper. I'm fucking basic.
I'm a
I do
chorizo
like
and egg
breakfast
boy.
foods.
Oh yeah, the chorizo. So
I've
what?
never heard of chorizo egg.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
man. So it's just spicy Mexican sausage that you mix up with your eggs, and it gives it a nice just kick to it.
Yeah.
Put a
And,
little tapatio in there.
yeah, and normally
I do
chorizo.
like sriracha on my eggs. I will say that.
Normally when
I
you
like
do
sriracha like everything.
when you do chorizo by itself, it doesn't really hold its form. It's kind of liquidy and greasy. But if you get it in there with the eggs, it actually holds its form a little bit better, and you don't need a lot of chorizo in there either. Like, a little bit of chorizo goes a long way in eggs.
Yeah, and it's super good.
Yeah, it's really
It's
good.
almost like you don't even need butter or olive oil either, because chorizo is pretty greasy.
Yeah, with the chorizo, you could just do the chorizo
Just,
straight by
mix
itself.
it up and then throw it in a non-stick pan.
Ooh. I might have to get some of this at the grocery store next time I'm there.
I highly recommend.
Oh yeah, definitely. I could actually go for some breakfast food right now. I'm not down for pancakes, but I'll do all the other breakfast food almost.
I've got tortilla wraps, I've got eggs, and I've got ham. I can fry some ham. I got spinach. I can throw some fucking spinach in there.
You know what I bravely did last time I went to the grocery store? I got turkey bacon to put my cholesterol down a little bit.
Yeah.
I know. It's a sacrifice that I have to make.
Yeah,
What's
so
better than
sorry.
turkey bacon is just sliced turkey meat for sandwiches, and then you just fry it in a pan.
I'll have to try that
or
one.
You put it in an air fryer.
Because I've done the turkey bacon, because I have the same thing where I'm kind of I have to worry about my cholesterol, which is something I say right up until I want a Whopper, and then I just go to fucking Burger King. But which is the thing I make the most exceptions for. People are like, hey, you want a steak? And I'm like, I gotta watch my cholesterol. Hey, you want some bacon? I gotta watch my cholesterol. Hey, you want this fucking garbage burger from Burger King? I'm like, hell yeah, sign me up.
What kind of mafia guys are hanging hanging out by the Burger King.
The coolest kind.
It's the voice I gotta default to anytime I'm talking about someone being a scumbag. You know, he's always gotta talk like this. You know what I
You
mean?
sound like Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
I love it.
It's what anytime I have to do a voice for someone who's supposed to sound sketchy or like a scumbag.
You should work on like an early Kyler from Squidbillies.
That's my favorite thing.
Even when I'm running like when
I
I'm
met
running
those guys.
like Pathfinder games and stuff, if I have an NPC come in, Flux will always be like, "Oh yeah, this guy's from Jersey." I always got like the scumbag voice. I had to start working on other like voices for that game because I only had a range of like 2 voices at the time. I didn't really think much about it.
Hey man, that's all you need.
And so I started working on other ones.
Jersey Scumbag and Ren, that's your range.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. And so the game we were playing basically takes place at like a fantasy, like Frenchy kind of area. So I had to work on my French accent. So I'd be just sitting here in my office while I'm working, just saying like random stupid shit in a French accent. And eventually I got it down where I was like, the first time I used it with Hizzy, she was like, "Oh, I like this guy. I like this character." I was like, oh no. Like, all that work for nothing.
Who was it that told me to watch Shrek with the French dub?
That was me. That was me.
That was you. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
I
I did that like a couple days after you told me, and I was like my lips hurt.
Yeah.
From, like grinning.
It's so good. Like, cause the dub is right on the disc. Like, you don't have to go out of your way to find it. It's on the disc, and you can just watch it in
Oh no, I had
in
to
French.
fucking torrent that shit.
Oh,
Couldn't find it anywhere.
yeah. The the first time I watched it, I was in like, I want to say it was right after high school that Shrek came out or whatever, and it was like the DVD. It had the Spanish and French versions on there, and for some reason, I don't remember which one of my friends were like, "Oh, let's watch it in French," and I'm like, "That's a really dumb idea." And immediately, I had to take it back because watching Shrek in French is amazing. But that one part with the gingerbread man where he tells the guy to eat me, and he's just like, "Much more." It's worth the whole experience up to that point. Like, even if you feel like you've wasted your life up to that point,
Just fast forward to that part.
Yep, it sells the whole thing. Sells the whole thing.
I think there's actually a clip on YouTube of it.
Much more.
I love that.
Brim, I'm sorry, I like to look at people's stuff while I talk to them, and I was just looking at your stuff, and
No. What's
I just your drawings and stuff. Calm down.
Oh god. I'm sorry. Are you okay?
Well, calm yourself. It's fine. I have no autistic talents, and you're drawing. You're putting yourself out there. Good for you.
Oh my god, thank you so much.
No, I was just gonna say I saw that you're from Florida, and I'm also from Florida.
Oh, what part? Let's be clear.
Panhandle part. So like near
I
Destin.
Panhandle.
All of it.
All of it.
Please don't tell me you're in Panama City Beach, Florida.
Right now I'm in Los Angeles, California. So no.
Okay.
Gage got tired of being a Florida man, so
Yeah,
he got out.
I participate in the Florida man jokes, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, they're making fun of me. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Being a Florida girl is much different than being a Florida man. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Florida girl is so much more intense than Florida man.
It's
weird because like sometimes they can act normal, then all of a sudden like the Florida comes out, and it's like, holy shit, where'd that come from?
And
Yeah,
any Florida girl story I've heard always involves her cutting off a man's penis.
Whoa.
It
You
is.
must have heard some great stories, dude.
I hear a lot.
What about a penis?
And any Florida girl story that I ever hear about involves at some point in the story she cuts off another man's penis.
Yeah. Well,
Oh my god.
No, sometimes dicks have to be severed.
Brim,
That's true.
Brim is
That's
this
a good life philosophy.
is this the video in the chat right now that you got?
Yeah, but it's not. I can't find the little
The gingerbread man?
one. But this is just as good.
Yeah. Oh man, that whole movie is pretty good in French.
When did it come out? When did it come out?
2001.
Oh wow.
It came out 20 years ago.
Phew.
I was such a
Yeah, that's
You were so young back then.
that's
Dude,
painful.
At least I was.
Not a lot of things hit me in that, like, do you feel old? Like, otherwise, most of the time, I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, that was a while ago. But for some reason, hearing Shrek is 20 years old really fucked me up.
this movie is almost old enough to drink. That's
One more year.
Yeah, next year we're going to be seeing Shrek the DVD at the bar.
it's messed up for me to think that Shrek came out like that would be my sophomore year of high school. Damn, that's too long ago.
Up here,
how old are you when you're like in 5th grade? 11?
I don't know actually.
Time was so long ago.
You fucking youngin', you a fucking 5th grade.
Fucking young 30-year-old.
you dumbass.
Yeah, got him. High five, Dom. That's us high fiving.
I liked it. Thank you.
Hold on, since we were talking about Squidbillies earlier, there's a scene where Early comes back from where I live with a dick hat.
Cool.
I forgot Squidbillies existed until you
Most
mentioned
everyone
it.
did.
Yeah. I wish I could like nail that kind of southern hick voice. I'd use that a lot in Pathfinder games too, I think. There's only a few accents that I can get, and I can't capture them for long. I can do an Irish accent, but if I do an Irish accent, I actually start to get locked into it. I start being unable to not say things with that sort of cadence of voice. When I was a long time ago, when I was working at Office Depot, my friend and I decided that we were going to go to our respective jobs and we were just going to speak in different accents for no reason, just and see if people said anything.
That's what you do at retail shops.
Yeah, so I was in my last 2 weeks. I'd already put in my 2 weeks, so I was like, yeah, what are they going to do? They going to fire me? Like, I don't. Oh well. You know, so I was speaking in this Irish accent for the whole 2 weeks, and customers were actually buying it. Like, they actually thought I was from Ireland. And some people would be like, "Oh, where in Ireland are you from?" And I'd be like, the South, you know, like, but because I don't know any shit. I don't know shit about Ireland. I just I copied something I saw in a movie, and I just went with that. But then when we were done with the gag, I had trouble not talking like that for a while because I'd been doing it for so long on purpose, and it was difficult not to talk like that.
How long did you keep the gag up? Just one day?
No, it was 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I did it. I did it for the full 2 weeks while I was there, and at one point there was only one time where it was kind of like walking the line where I did almost actually get fired, but it wasn't for I want to say it wasn't for the accent itself. It was a customer that I pissed off because she was like getting up in my business, and I didn't have to be patient with her because I was going to be quitting. I didn't have to put up with it.
That's a great line of thinking that I wish I had more often.
Yeah,
whenever I start going off a job, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try to uphold my reputation. You, on the other hand, you're like, fuck it, I'm leaving.
I had 1 foot out the door. I didn't care. This lady was like, we had a clearance section at the front of the store, and she had come in and she was buying up the entire clearance section for like some sort of charity or something like that. But she was doing it in a way that was really scummy. So like, it's for charity, but she was being really scummy about it. She had like these coupons or discount thing. I can't remember what it was, but we could only do it for a certain amount. It was for any amount of $100 or more. And it was you can only use this coupon 1 per transaction, right? Which is reasonable for $100 minimum purchase, right? But
Yeah.
she basically wanted to use these things. She was in this big conversation with the manager. They worked out a deal where they were going to discount on top of the clearance discount because she was taking the whole section, and the manager was really keen to get that stuff out of there and zero it out of inventory and all this other crap. So works out a deal with the manager. He leaves. As soon as she leaves, she starts trying to pressure me to use these other coupons. I'm like, oh, I can only do, one per transaction. She's like, okay, break them up into different transactions. Once you get over $100, total it, do the thing. We'll use the coupon, and then we'll start again. And I'm like, sure, okay. Like, I didn't have a problem with it because, again, I'm going to be quitting. I start ringing it up. She's like, okay, I got to go get my kid from school. I'll be back. You just keep bringing this stuff. I'm like, sure.
What?
So, well, because like when you're sitting there just scanning pencils and stuff and like keying it in and stuff, getting to $100 actually takes a while. Like, it's actually sort of like, it takes a while, especially with all these discounts. Each of the pencils is like, 5 cents or something. So she leaves. I'm still scanning stuff, and then I hit that $100 threshold and I stop. I'm like, okay. And I'm just standing there, and my manager comes up and he's like, hey, what are you doing? You still got a whole bunch of stuff. And I tell him the situation. He's like, no, we're not doing that. I already gave her like a massive discount on all the stuff that's already discounted. Just keep bringing it. I'm like, you're sure? Like, this is the hill you want to die on? He's like, yeah, go ahead. So I start scanning it. And keep in mind, I'm in my Irish bullshit accent this whole time. Okay. And so she comes back with her kid. And I've rung up the whole section. It's like a few, like, I want to say several $100s. We're at like $400 or $500 or something like that. And
Still going?
Yeah, and I'm still going. She starts yelling at me. She starts like losing her shit with her kid right there. And, I was like, look, my boss told me this is what I got to do. So this is what and she said something to the effect of like, I'm the customer, you work for me, And
Those are the funnest people to work with.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to hit the Irish accent, but the thing I said to her that really like put her over the top. I don't know if I'm going to be able to nail this, but I looked her dead in the eye and I'm like, "Well, no offense, ma'am, but you're not actually the one that signs the checks now, are you?" and she looks at me for a minute and then just snaps. You could see something like in her brain just kind of like. And she goes like full-blown Karen before we were calling it Karen, and she loses it.
She was a Karen before this.
Yeah, she was like the hipster Karen.
Curve, man.
She's screaming at me, and I'm just sitting there like leaning on my register, just letting her go off because I don't care. Like, I really just don't. And she's losing it. Eventually, like one of the managers comes up, has me leave so he can talk to her, and I go back there. And my other manager is waiting there, like, what the hell happened? And I explain it to him. The other manager comes back and he's like, did you say? And he says he says a totally different version of what I said to me. And like a lot more disrespectful version, like I swore at her or something, is what she's trying to tell. Like, no, I didn't say that. And he's like, but you were doing that stupid accent that you're doing right now. And I was like, I thought I was. And he's like, you're gonna have to stop. I was like, I mean, you can try to make me, but it's not gonna happen.
If you have to work retail, you are allowed those simple pleasures.
Yeah. That's the only job where I've been at like that final home stretch where I was just like, I don't care if this place burns to the ground. Hey, yeah, go ahead, just take stuff, just steal stuff. I don't care, it's fine. Like, it's the only job where I just checked out like that in the last couple weeks. I've had jobs where I was close, but nothing like that one. So.
Hell yeah, fuck the establishment, bro.
My wife and I both worked at Best Buy for a long time, and we had one year where the theft was getting really, really bad, and you were not allowed to stop anyone from stealing stuff at all. You couldn't try to apprehend them. You couldn't even call them out. Like, hey, like, we weren't allowed to do anything to stop these people. And these thieves figured it out. Like, they were like, oh, wow, you just go in there, you just take stuff, and they don't stop you. And they're
Cops glass fall on them?
Well, I mean, we can. So basically, we had these little radios, they're on our lapels, and we'd be like, "Hey, we got someone, walking out with," and we'd tell the loss prevention person. The loss prevention person would get on the phone, and he'd like keep an eye on them and watch them go out the door and like try and get a license plate. But that's all we could do. We couldn't follow them out. We couldn't do.
What?
We weren't allowed to do anything at all.
What year was this?
This would have been about 7 years ago, because I want to say it was the same.
Yeah, that was before security was invented, right?
It was no, it was. So the problem is that Best Buy used to be very they were very heavy-handed with their enforcement, and I guess some lawsuits have been brought to them once or twice. My wife says it was 2011 to 2013. She's in the chat, like correcting me here. So it was around there, and so she before that, Best Buy had been very, very heavy-handed with this. So like one of the guys I knew who was loss prevention at another store had actually tackled someone the year prior, but there was lawsuits being brought to Best Buy left and right. So the company's policy was just like, no, we won't do anything about it. Just let them go. It's cheaper than the lawsuit. It's fine. We can write it off. So I was like, all right, whatever. But in 1 month, we had 12 laptops just go right off the shelf.
Yeah,
Just
I would imagine.
Right off the shelf. We had iPads just take off. We had all kinds of stupid different measures that we were coming up with to try and save the iPads, because Apple won't compensate you for stolen merch at all. HP will, Toshiba will, everyone else will. Apple won't. They're like, no, you lost it, you bought it. It's your problem. We had all these stupid measures we started doing for the Apple things that we didn't do with anything else. We had like those little security wraps and stuff for other stuff, but it doesn't matter, because if you walk out with a security wrap and the thing goes off and no one chases you, oh well. Like, you go home, you get like some little hedge clippers and you're good to go. But with the Apple stuff, we at first we put them behind a glass case that was locked. People started figuring out ways to get the glass case open, because it wasn't like a key lock, it was a magnetic lock, and people just started bringing fat ass magnets into Best Buy and unlocking these glass cases to get their iPads. So we stopped doing that. We put it in a cage that was up in the top stock area, and people started figuring out ways to do that. So we locked it. After we locked it, people were figuring out ways to use like broom handles to jimmy the things out, because the cage that the company bought for some reason had gaps in the bars that were big enough that you could get an iPad out of. So then we take the cage, we move it to the back room, and in the back room on the top stock area, you had to get a special guy who had the only set of keys besides a manager to come back and unlock that thing. We get a call one morning that one of the other stores 20 minutes away had someone come in. They backed a truck in through the loading dock in the back, right? Took some chains and hooks and attached it to the cage up top, pulled the truck forward, pulled the whole cage down so it exploded open, and they just looted the whole cage of whatever iPads were still intact, and then they left. And that was like...
Jesus, I knew one of those guys.
That was 20 minutes from our location. And the shitty thing about all this was that even it doesn't matter if it was a Toshiba laptop walking out or a phone or an iPad. If they could write it off, they would. But you had sales goals at each individual store. It counted against us for our sales goals. It was like, it was negative sales on our sales goals. So we basically went into deep into the red, and instead of getting any sort of like bonuses or anything like that, it was like, no, you guys have to sell everything with the full attachments with all this stuff. And it was like, or maybe we could stop letting people steal our shit. Like, maybe it's like, if you're going to lean on us for this, that like it completely negates the whole program.
Corporate saying like, you know what, we can kill two birds with one stone here. We can stop getting lawsuits, and we can also stop getting reports.
Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous. I don't understand how, because you had laptops out on the floor at Best Buy. When I worked at Staples, we didn't have any laptops on the floor anywhere. We had a room for lockup where you had to go and retrieve anything that was over a certain price. It was like anything over, I want to say $75 or $80 was locked up back there, except for printers, because no one steals printers. But it was a special lockup area where everything was, and they didn't do that at Best Buy. And I, like, as soon as we started, like, once we were on our 6th theft, I was like, hey, maybe we should just lock them up. Like, maybe we put them over there where Geek Squad is, because you can't get back there as just a regular guy. Like, so...
See, what would happen if, say, I'm a customer, and you're the person I talk to, and I'm like, hey, could you grab that for me? I want to take a look at it. And you go through the efforts of getting it, I'm like, cool, thanks. And then I just leave.
I couldn't stop you. That's the thing. I couldn't stop you. Now,
Does
they
anybody want to go to Best Buy with me?
I don't know if that's still their policy, so you're taking your life in your hands there. I don't know. So
I can always stream.
they had these bullshit beliefs where if you were doing phenomenal customer service, people would not steal from you. And I'm like,
That's not
What?
true.
how, why? And
Yeah,
That is
no.
not
People are
true.
mean. They'll take advantage of you.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
And some people were, they'd be a little bashful about it, so what they do is they come in, we had the same group of thieves who would come in. It was a crew of 4 people. And basically what they do is 3 people would come in and get with we had 3 sales associates in the computer section. They basically pull one each to talk some bullshit about a laptop, right? Like, oh, I want to look at, what can you tell me about this laptop? Sales associates get into their stupid spiel, our phenomenal customer service. And the 4th person basically would go like one aisle over and just start scooping up laptops and would walk out with them. Sometimes like 2 in each hand, in the handles, and then walk out with them. And I was like, no, you don't understand. Like, they're using our service against us because we're obligated to chase them down and try and sell them stupid, shitty attachments on bargain bin laptops.
It's a perfect plan. It's a perfect plan.
Yeah, and they knew it. Like, it had to be a bunch of people who worked at Best Buy previously because they knew exactly what they were doing.
They were probably dudes
Yeah,
from like
it's
who were like 30 miles away.
Some Ocean's 11 shit right there. I love
Yeah.
it.
But it was
Inside
like,
job.
it was so like, but the thing is like, you knew it was happening when it was happening. Because as soon as you got tied up with, like, all sales associates got tied up, we'd kind of look at each other, and then we'd, like, look around to see where the other person was that wasn't being helped, and then we'd see them walking towards the door, and we'd be like, shit, not again.
Come towards you. There's nothing you can do with that.
Yeah. I don't
Real
know.
heist.
I don't know how other Best Buys handled things. I know we would hear stories about other Best Buys getting ripped off in, like, ridiculous ways, like the truck. Like, we actually got to see the security camera of this truck, this, like, F-150 just backing up through this, like, shitty little, like the sliding doors that they have on loading docks, but it's like, it's
Yeah.
a real rickety one. Just back up through it. Take all these iPads, just load them into the thing after they pull the cage down, just load them up into the truck. This big, like, the whole thing was basically filled with, like, iPads. A lot of the iPads we had at the time, you had, like, the iPad 2s that were like $400, but the iPad 3 had just come out, and they had, like, a special, like, Wi-Fi 3G version of it was like $1,000 a pop. So 10 of those go walking out the door. That's it.
That's pretty cool.
You will never make those numbers back as that store. Like, you just don't bother even trying to, like, attach things. You'll never get there. Your bonus is gone. Like, your hours are cut. That's the other thing too that they would do, is your hours were based on your sales that week. So if you went into the negative and you were doing really badly, they'd basically, when they were assigning hours, they would just, like, cut people. They would, like, oh, you get 2 hours this week.
Jesus
And
Christ.
it was always, like, regular employees that got punished for that stuff. Not management, not middle management, upper management. No one at the corporate level, that's for fucking sure. It was always
I guess
people.
nobody gives a shit about regular employees.
Yeah, it was you that paid for it because you were supposed to somehow stop it without being allowed to stop it. Also, while you were at home in bed, because they did this truck thing. It was at 12 at night is when they did it. So, like, what were we supposed to do?
It was a real heist.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a shitty
Making me
company.
so angry that, like, my appetite is slowly waning.
Yeah, it's things like that why companies are actually going to are going out of business. So they're always like, oh, it's online retailers, oh, it's this, it's that, and it's like, no.
No, that's how you treat your
So
employees and customers.
This will be my last retail anecdote, and then I'll actually let someone else talk.
I love hearing it.
So Jordan, Red Crescent here, is my cousin, and he was living with us in Oregon for a while, and we both worked at Toys R Us. Okay, this is before Toys R Us went under, obviously. We know, when people are out here talking about, oh, this is what actually killed Toys R Us, and it was the investors, or it was this, it was online retail, it was no, it was that Toys R Us only had to do their job well once a year, maybe twice. Once a year, around holiday, around Christmas, you had to do your job well. You had to have things in stock. You had to know whether it was in stock. You had to know where it is. You had to know how to find it. You had to know use the equipment, the inventory. Okay, they would hire in a bunch of new people, myself included, and they would have them run that shit. And it was a shit show every time. Management never wanted to do anything to do with it. So I got hired on as an inventory person. I was supposed to be a cashier. They hired me on as an inventory person because I had been a manager at a Staples and I'd worked at Best Buy. So they hire me on as an inventory person. They have me in there for a few days, and the guy who's supposed to train me then goes on vacation. Good guy. They told him he had to take his vacation before the end of the year, and that was his last chance. So he did it. He was like, all right, well, screw you guys. And he leaves. And so he leaves me there by myself, and you have these little scans you're supposed to do in the morning, right? And the inventory scans. And so we went through, we do these inventory scans, and I didn't really know how to put them into the system or anything like that. And I faked it for the entire vacation that guy was gone. I just walked up and down the aisle, just pointing it at things every now and then looking at the thing, pretending like I knew what I was doing. And I just kept going. No managers knew that I didn't know what I was doing because they themselves didn't know how to do the process. It was the one guy and the other guy that worked in the other department did the same thing. That was it. So we went through a whole holiday season with inaccurate inventory. That wasn't necessarily my fault. That was just, 2 weeks. Inaccurate inventory. We had an online system that would place orders automatically in our store regardless of whether or not we had it. And we also had the layaway system that conflicted with that, because if you had 5 of something, I want to say, I don't remember which PlayStation it was. Jordan, do you remember which PlayStation it was that year? Was it the PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4? 4. Very difficult to get a hold of. If we had 5 PlayStation 4s and people came in and put 4 of them into layaway, they would be sitting up in bins waiting for people to pay them off, but our inventory system would still show 5. So someone goes onto the website, orders himself a PlayStation 4, and our inventory system says we have 5. Okay, so it would basically allocate that to that person. Person would drive in, show up and be like, I'm here to get my PlayStation. First of all, we can't find it. And second of all, it's probably in layaway, so you can't actually do it. But this person already paid. So we had to figure all that nonsense out. Our entire holiday season was like that. It was just like that. That
sounds like a headache.
That is the kind of shit that got Toys R Us to go under, because they only had to do their job well once a year, and they couldn't manage even that. I can't tell you how many times people would show up pissed off at Toys R Us. Sometimes, legitimately, and then other times because the people who would be doing scalping would come in, want to buy up our entire stock of Nintendo DSs or 3DSs, whatever it was. Special edition Yoshi 3DS or whatever, and if we would only sell them 1, they'd lose their shit. Or if we only had 2 in stock, they'd lose their shit. And it's like, dude, you're here to buy 10 of them. What do you want me to tell you? You get 1.
Bro, I got one of those. I went to the store when they opened and I bought one.
Yeah.
I wanted the Yoshi 3DS.
That's probably the other thing that didn't help Toys R Us any was employees buying things out from under customers before the store even opened.
People would buy all the Power Rangers things that came out, all the legacy toys.
Yeah.
And it was usually the employees buying them.
Oh man. Yeah, Toys R Us went under for being a shitty business, for having an entire management team
garbage-ass business.
that did not know what it was doing. I was there and I needed to. I had a question on how to do something. We had a store manager named Benny, who I've told Jordan looked like an uncircumcised penis.
And
Like,
he did.
Excuse me.
he looked
He looked like an
physically like
uncircumcised penis
if an uncircumcised penis was a person,
with a mustache.
that's Benny.
Is it because he had like forehead folds and like neck folds?
Yeah,
or something
basically,
that
yeah.
made him look like an uncircumcised penis.
That
Yep.
and just his face was generally terrible to look at.
Just very
Oh.
very
As
penisy.
uncircumcised penises
Very
are terrible
Was
to
his
look
mouth
at.
Yeah.
like the hole of a penis?
Yeah, more or less.
Did he have
Nothing
the
good came out of it.
Did he drool a lot?
No, he was-
Probably.
so he was terrible. But anytime something went down where we needed him to do anything, there was a small management office in the front where he would just like lock himself in there and he wouldn't say anything. You'd be knocking on the door and he just would not say anything. It's locked and it only locks from the inside, so you know someone's in there, but he wouldn't say anything. He wouldn't come out. He wouldn't help us. So
not only was he an uncircumcised dick, but he was also a craven uncircumcised.
yeah.
He was a miserable piece of shit manager.
Maybe he just needed a friend. Maybe you guys should have befriended him.
Yeah, but the manager that we
Yeah,
had
but then you
before,
would
the
be
guy that
friends with
hired me was a
uncircumcised
much better
penis.
manager.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like, he
okay.
actually
Yeah,
was
be friends
fun.
with the better manager.
Like
My
the
bad.
guy, like I don't know, people would be like, "Oh, Bill didn't manage. Like he wasn't a great manager." And I was like, "Yeah, but he was more of like an actual manager of a toy store. Like just
More of
some
like
the
a
first
people's
days I was
person?
there, some of the first days I was there, I'm just like at the register or whatever, and they're training me or something, and then from like one of the big aisles, Bill is just driving a go-kart around the store. And it's like, okay, this guy's pretty fun and I like him.
He's basically a young version of the guy from Home Alone 2. Who's just
Yeah,
really,
pretty much,
really
exactly.
into his job as owning or
Yeah,
managing
he
a
was
toy
just
store.
fun guy, and it was like, it was just much more fun, and it put better energy into being at the store. Because like when Benny came around, it felt more corporate, where you have a manager who doesn't know fuck all about what he's doing. Because
Mhm.
I don't know, apparently people can get into high positions not knowing anything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because that's how my company is.
Happens all
Of all the
time.
people, I got to listen to a call last week that one of the supervisors was on with a bunch of higher ups, the people that make over 100K a year, and these people spent like 6 hours on this call having no fucking idea what they're talking about.
6 hours on one call.
Yes, for a problem that they had already explained to them. Hey, this is what's wrong, and they're still asking what's wrong.
That's insane. That's
People need
Yes,
to
that is
listen
insane.
sometimes.
It's like you guys are getting paid to not know anything about what you're talking about. You're getting paid to be on a call for 6 hours asking the same question when it's being answered.
I mean, if there's no repercussions for it, there's no incentive to learn anything. You just gotta
Exactly.
keep sucking the right dick.
Brim. Have
Yeah.
you've worked retail, right?
Once in college for a summer.
Oh, well,
And it was really easy. I basically like read books off of like their bookshelf all day.
oh, okay. Gage, have you done retail or just food service?
I've done retail as well. I worked at a movie theater. Wait, does movie theaters count as retail?
You're dealing with the public.
Yeah, I mean,
Sort of, yeah.
yeah, I'd say so. I mean, it's also kind of food service too if you're working the concessions counter. So it's kind of
That's
a weird
true.
it's kind of a weird mix actually. Now that you mention
It's kind of like the ultimate job if you think about
I
it.
feel like there's great like story potential in working in, like a movie theater. Like no, like I don't want to like be crass, but like I did some terrible shit in movie theaters when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
I imagine like somebody has like great stories about what I did.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never got to that end of the movie theater stuff. I mean, I just did like bird calls and shit into the microphone or over the walkie-talkie because I was that kid. And, Oh, here's something. I got Employee of the Month by kind of like convincing people. There was like this gift card sales thing, and I'm like, and you could get a coupon if you spent a certain amount on gift cards.
Mhm.
So I would just say to the people, look, I'm trying to get this gift card sales thing. Just buy the gift card and use that gift card to buy your movie tickets, and then I'll give you the coupon. You get a free coupon out of it. And they're like, oh, yeah, I'll take a free small popcorn if it's just a few extra steps.
Sure.
And I got an Employee for the Month of that. And
Nice.
I basically scammed the company out of money, I guess.
I guess. I mean, I was doing my job at a hyper efficiency. I guess that's, you know.
I was 16, 17 years old, man.
When you
I
say
didn't know anything.
when you say you're doing bird calls, I'm imagining you just being on the radio like, hey guys, you want to know what a screech owl sounds like? And then you just start screeching into the radio for 15 minutes straight.
I wasn't that annoying. I would just be like, if a movie theater was clear and we could clean it up, I just went caw, and then we cleaned it up.
Like,
That's kind of adorable.
I'm just a birdie too. Like,
I'm just a birdie too.
That's funny. We had when I was at Office Depot, we had stupid noises that we would make. It started with this one kid, Justin, I worked with, and I don't know why he was doing it. I don't know if it was supposed to be a reference to something, but it started off as like, if you asked him a question and the answer was yes, he'd be like, mm-hmm, and like just really weird about it. And it started off tame.
Oh, almost like he's talking down to you.
Yeah, but he was doing it on purpose. Like, it wasn't like he actually was talking down to you. He'd just be like, he's just being goofy. He like purse his lips and kind of like flutter his eyelids, like I don't want, like just be like. And then it started like it started evolving over time, and eventually we got to the point where like if someone was on the radio and they were asking someone for something, instead of saying yes on the radio, from across the store they'd just be like. And then and everyone would be looking around like who was that? And like customers would be like, what the hell was that noise? And you'd always have to duck behind like a stack of paper to do it. Like, sometimes if you couldn't get away with being really loud, you'd just be like up in the microphone like, and I brought it over to Staples when I started working there. My wife's like, that's where it comes from.
Do you still do it to this day?
Sometimes when I she's like, fucking goddamn it. Yeah, sometimes
Depot is a bad influence on you.
Sometimes I'll just do it for no reason. I'll just be loud and obnoxious out of nowhere. I usually save it for my sister, because I have one that I do for my sister. So my sister's name is Brittany, but at one point when she introduced herself to one of my friends, they thought she said Bernie, and then somehow it went from Bernie to Beanie, so she was always Beanie for a while.
Beanie's a great name.
Yeah. And then we had all kinds of different versions. We had Bernie, Beanie, Brenny, all these other things, because she would mutter and kind of stuff when she was a teenager. You know, I'm very moody and mutter. So I was like, you gotta speak up when you tell people your name. And she's like, what, you want me to yell it at someone? I was like, yeah, someone asks you your name, you just look them dead in the eye and go, So now, whenever she shows up and she doesn't know I'm around, like if she's coming up the front driveway or something, I'll open the front window and I'll just yell that out at her. And she'll like jump like, shit!
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I have to dip for a little bit, but I will be back.
All right, yeah, I look forward to it.
Don't you fucking worry, I'll be back.
Okay. Sir, I'm going to need you to calm down, sir.
Okay, I'm calm.
All right. All right, you can go.
I was gonna say I have a story about names, and it's my name is Lydia, and my sister's name is Claudia.
Oh, I can see that being confusing almost immediately.
Yeah, so my dad would constantly get us confused, especially like when we were in trouble. It was like, Claudia, Lydia, no, I mean Clydia. And he would do that. And he would do that like innocently, and then it became not so innocently.
Oh
And
no!
he would do it like in public when we were like in line to go on like a carnival cruise, or if we were waiting to get picked up at high school or middle school. And it's just like even to this day, it's like he'll do it.
Don't call me Clydia. Jeez.
It's almost traumatic.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, once or twice when it happens on accident, it's like, that's funny. It's two words together, Clydia.
No, it's probably happened over 200 times.
And now, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also very close to chlamydia at that point.
Yeah. But it's a clit, it's chlamydia.
You're gonna have to name a character that now, Clydia. Like that's just Lady Clydia.
Oh my god, I should. Your plant babes.
Yeah, there you go. Her name's Clydia.
Yep, that's it. Clydia. Own it.
That's really funny. I see Hizzy lurking in here. I think she's just listening in. She's got her mic muted. Hi Hizzy. We missed you. Welcome back.
Hey.
How you doing?
No, it's not. What up, Hiz?
Yeah, she sounds like she's feeling poopy. Nothing, just
A little tired.
yeah. Well, I was actually hoping you would be able to make it for this phantasmical fireside chat. We've had some people come and go, so it's been nice having people just kind of drop in and
Retail
listen.
horror stories.
Yeah,
Those are the most recent.
I feel like I talk too much, but then I'm like, wait a minute, this is still my stream. Like I can talk. Like I'm allowed to do that. So.
No, you're not.
Oh.
We say it's okay, but
Yeah.
really you're not actually allowed to do anything.
Sad day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could go on and on about the retail thing. I know that so when Jordan comes out to visit, we'll usually just go on and on about how terrible something was at Toys R Us, because I think that's the only job we ever worked together was at Toys R Us.
Yeah, I got to experience you at the cafe a bit because I would just sit there for your whole shift in the cafe.
Oh man, and Bonnie hated it too. She absolutely. She's like, "What's he still doing here?" And I'm like, I'd like lean over, drinking a latte. Like, what do you want? Like, is that the same one from earlier? Is he paying? He paid, right? And I was like, yeah, I didn't give him a free latte. He bought it. Like, and now like it's almost
the
lunch.
Same one from earlier. It's like, I eat very slowly.
I was like, it's almost lunch.
Yeah,
He'll probably get a sandwich. Like, he'll probably get a wrap or something. Like, what's the problem? Like, it should be like, your friends can't be hanging out in here all day. And I'm like, but they're paying. Like,
Customers.
They're paying for food. Like,
Not only that, but like you don't want to like a place that sells food or coffee to look empty, right?
Yeah, and
So
I had
really like
I had friends that would come in. They'd be there, but like from breakfast to lunch, and they would eat there and pay for things each time. I had one friend who was he'd be drinking coffee nonstop, and he'd pay. I'm like, I fail to see what the problem is here, so long as they've paid. Now, if they were just bumming around, sure. She's like, they're distracting, and I'm like, not to me. Like, I am perfectly capable of ignoring my friends. Like, I
feel like that bitch just wanted to complain.
She did. She was actually like,
Job.
she was a psychopath. Bonnie was a psychopath. I really shouldn't be saying her name on stream and then attaching it, but like she was.
Fuck it, who cares?
But my friend whose mom she was has actually cut her out of her life, so I don't feel bad for naming her.
I mean, look, I've had a boss that was like that, where she literally would just like find things to like complain about, and every single time she did that, like, I would wonder how terrible her life actually was.
She would get into.
She just had to like complain all the time.
She'd get into arguments and conflicts with customers all the time. We'd
For
get
no reason.
we'd get people who would call the cops to come out to the cafe on her. Which some
How the fuck did she keep her job? Did she own the place?
Yeah, she owned it. It was her. It was her business. And I mean, sometimes it was legit. Sometimes it'd be like it was legit. Like she went way too far. And then sometimes you get people who would call cops based off of like she wouldn't refund them something, and she's like, "No, I own the business. I'm not doing that." Like, and they'd lose their shit or something. But yeah, she was insane. And there was one time where I had to go talk to her about some inventory stuff. I went downstairs and I'm talking to her, and I try to get her attention. She's not like listening to me. And then I realized, oh, maybe she's on the phone because she's kind of like this, right? And so I think she's on the phone. And so I'm like, oh shit, I was totally like talking to her as she's on the phone. So I come up and I put my hand on her arm to get her attention because it's important. This is an important thing that needs to, like, we're out of something. Like, so I go up, put my hand on her arm. She jumps up out of her chair, shoves me back, and cocks her fist back. And she says, "Don't you ever fucking touch me again." And I was like,
wow.
Holy shit. I was like, holy shit. She had no phone in her hand, so she was actually just ignoring me. And I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't, I was a kid at the time. I was only 17, I think, is when I had this job, around there. 17 or 18. And I was like, holy shit. Like, this has got to be, like, this is a weird experience for me. And I apologized profusely. And she just told me to get the fuck out. And I was like, oh, okay. And later she apologized, but it was a really like half-assed apology. There was one time I got fired. I got fired from that place 3 times. Because it's like how crazy she was. There was one time I had gone over to our cousin Justin's house. I had spent the night over there. We were playing D&D the previous night. I had to work the next day. The only reason I stayed over was my friend Tyler was like, yo, I'll just bring you into work. I got to go into work too. I'll bring you into work when I get up. And we're like, cool. Well, we had bad weather that night. Next morning, his car is in the mud, and we're trying to push it out. We can't get the car out of the mud. I slip and twist my knee while we're pushing this car out, and I have to call in because I've twisted my knee. I can't be on my feet all day. So I call in, and she's like, no, if you don't come in, you're fired. And I'm like, but I can't walk. And she's like, I've twisted my knee before and worked entire shifts. You can do it too. Oh, okay.
Wow. What a C word.
So I come in. It takes me a while to get there, though. Like, we still haven't got this car out of the mud. So it takes me a while to get there. I'm like 2 or 3 hours late. I get there, and I walk in. I'm limping. I can barely stand up. And I get there behind the counter, and she tells me I'm fired.
Wow.
But she said, I remember she said it like, not like you're fired, but like she didn't look at me. She just kept doing what she was doing. And she said something like you're terminated or something like that. Like, not like a regular you're fired or you don't work here. Like, she full on like Schwarzeneggered me.
She said it like she said it as though it was an email that was sent to you.
And I was just standing there like I could barely stand up. My knee's all jacked up. And it's like I put in all this extra effort. My ride has left because he has to get to work too. And I'm just downtown with a jacked up knee, like muddy socks on. I can't fucking walk, and I'm fired.
Wow. I'm so grateful. Like, my boss is like super chill. Because like I've worked for like bosses like that where they're just like so fucking psycho. And they just go from like one extreme to like the next.
Yeah.
And it did like I've been like paralyzed by confusion and fear from like the people that I used to work for multiple times, to the point where like they actually like made me so anxious and stressed out that I ate a hole in my stomach.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason why I have like terrible stomach issues.
Yeah, that job was probably the most stressful one I've had ever.
And it wouldn't have been if it wasn't for that bitch of a fucking owner.
Yeah, and it was one of my first jobs, so I didn't know better. I didn't know that, like, you know, I just thought that this was how it was. My first job was working in a call center. I was at a place called Livebridge, and I only worked there for a week. because they told us we were going to have a month of training, and then they were going to put us on the phones. They gave us 2 days of training and put us on the phones. And I was panicking. It was my first job. I didn't know what to do. They hadn't really taught us how to do things. They just needed warm bodies filling seats and picking up phones. And it was bad. It was bad and stressful enough as it was. But then, like, after the week was done, there was this. The whole room was kind of semicircular, and the managers sat in the center, so they were behind everybody. You know, everyone's backs were to those managers, so they were always looking over your shoulder. And the guy who handled payroll was a dude. It was a big, tall dude who wore a red suit. And when you went to go get your paycheck, you had to sign for it. And he would say to everybody, like, he'd always like look them like dead in the eye with this, you know, wearing this red suit. He'd be like, "Sign your life away." And I was like, I don't feel good about this. I don't.
Wow.
No.
Not ominous at all.
Yeah. So I was like, my friend Ben and I that had both been working there, we just stopped going. We didn't call out. We didn't do anything. I think Ben called out and he told them that his car exploded and he was coming in never. And then that was it. Like,
that's a pretty good, like, I quit.
Yeah, we just, it felt, they were distinctly dishonest, but then, you know, it was stressful, and then the guy, so we just didn't do it anymore.
My first, like, legit job in, like, the career that I have now, was working out of this little, like, mom and pop printing shop, and the owners didn't give a shit what happened, because, like, it was a cheap little place. Like, people got their business cards there. The guy was, like, an ex-construction worker. He had, like, kind of shady friends, and, like, the type of customers that would come in and sit down with me to, like, work on, like, their signs or, like, their business cards or whatever were just, like, the scummiest fucking people.
Yeah.
Like, I had, like, this one guy, like, pull a gun out of, like, his, like, wife beater tank top and show it to me as if, like, I would be impressed by it. Like,
hey, yo, you want to see my gun? I got it right here.
Like, he'd previously, like, been talking about, like, what kind of underwear, like, I liked wearing, and if like, I was interested in, like, a Victoria's Secret gift card. And then, like, he pulls out, like, a gun. And it's, like, this little tiny little thing. And I remember going up to, like
I feel like I've met this guy.
Right?
We've all met this guy.
I must have been, like, 20 or 19 or something. And I remember, like, being, like, really impressed with myself, because I played it, like, really cool. You know, I was, like, very polite. I was very nice. Even though, like, inside I was like, holy fucking shit, this guy's, like, the gun out. And he's, like, super inappropriate, and I can't handle it. But he eventually leaves, and I go up to, like, the owners, and I'm like, okay, so this is what just happened to me with this guy, and they didn't believe me. They just thought I was, like, you know, a 19-year-old craving attention.
Just making it like, man, I'm bored at work. I'm gonna go make up a story about this.
Yeah. And I remember, like, that being, like, a red flag, but still working there, like, for 6 months.
Wow.
More before, like, finding a better job.
This guy walks in. Hey, Toots, what kind of underwear you like to wear? I got some gift cards here. You want to go to Victoria's Secrets?
What you do? It sounds like a trench coat guy trying to sell her underwear.
No, seriously. Okay, this guy made his living by suing medical companies. He would go in for, like, procedures that, like, you know, he made up, and then he would come in and he'd make signs to protest outside of, like, their office or whatever, until they would just sign off on, like, whatever he was asking for.
Wow.
He'd make them screw up the procedure, like they're about to do the scalpel, and he's like,
you know
oops, and he just slips. They disembowel him real quick.
No, he just, like, pretended that they did, and he would just protest them. Like, he explained it to me, like, one day about how, like, they'll just pay you money to stop doing this.
Yeah, they'll just pay you to go away.
So he just kept doing stuff like this. Like, he'd come in and with, like, these, like, really awful, like, organ images, and we'd put them on signs for him, and it was just like,
whoa.
Sounds like a real beacon of society.
Yeah, that was
wow.
The worst year of my life.
I mean, as scummy as that is, why have I not been doing this?
It's true, man. I smell a business opportunity for you.
Mm-hmm.
He won like every lawsuit.
You just have to start wearing wife beaters.
Yeah. I don't think I'd look good in one. I think I'd look awful in one. I think
Me
I'd.
neither.
This dude was not a looker. Like he had like
Look like a meth addict, probably.
30-year-old ear gut that he started cultivating at like 25.
Yeah, but
something.
I mean, I got a gut, but I don't quite have that beer gut yet, and I don't have any like chest hair that can pop out of it just disgustingly. You know what I mean? Like, so I would look like a little kid who like got his dad's shirt and is wearing it around because he's a big boy now. Like that's what I would look like if I was wearing a wife beater. Like that's what I would look like.
Who's daddy's big boy? I love that I can still hear the fucking screams from her game. Checking to see if I have a stream open somewhere.
I wonder how you guys are hearing that.
Yeah, it's only when you can hear a scream here and there. It's
Yeah.
So weird. Yeah, I just got.
It's
a
only
nurse
when you're talking too. I think is when we hear it. So it.
Yeah. I
That's
haven't
funny.
watched a
I
DVD
almost
stream in a
lost
while.
rank. I'm finally at rank 2 after
Yeah.
they fixed the.
Because I haven't been playing enough to rank up the last couple weeks.
Well, they did that the lunar event update, and it's
Yeah, the lunar event was a nightmare.
Yeah, so like you couldn't pip up as
Survivor. Yeah, I had to do really well if I wanted to get pips.
Yeah,
You don't survive, you down pip. If you survive, maybe you get a pip.
I mean, it feels like you would have had like normally I would get like a double pip for like
Yeah.
the pip. The pip.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you get like 27k. It's like that should be a double pip. You get
I know, I
like
kept looking at
barely
my points, and
one.
I'm like, dude, I have like 30,000 points. How did I like not pip that game? And then you look at like your medals and you're like, what the fuck?
Oh, the points were all screwed up too because of the event. Because you're getting the
Yeah.
bonus points, so your score would be like, oh, the killer got 42,000 points apparently.
That seems really high. Yeah.
I had this one idiot in the post game chat, like talking shit to me about how like I was saying something about how like I think they left me on like hook to die so they get the hatch or some shit, which is really annoying. And I was
Yeah.
like saying some shit to him, and he was like, "Yeah, well, look how many points I have." And I'm like, "Dude, you brought like a red letter."
And also,
you
you
have-
got the hatch.
Yeah, and also you got the hatch,
You get 7,500 points for getting the hatch.
and he only had like a 2,000 more than me.
Yeah, like they don't think about that. They're like, well, I outscored you. It's like, well, also you escaped, and that gave you a shitload more points just for doing that.
Yeah, and you also brought an offering that gave you like 3,000 points per generator that got done. Like, come on,
Yeah,
don't be a tool.
yeah, they gotta be tools in this game.
Yeah, definitely. Well, in any multiplayer.
I don't know, man. I played Call of Duty for like all through high school and college, and some after college. And that community, while like at times can be like really toxic, was pretty chill for the most part.
For a while when I
Especially
was
the Call of Duty zombie crap.
going, actually, this would happen when Jordan and I were playing Overwatch. We would just like late at night.
Oh god, it's so fun, dude. It's the only game I trash talk in ever.
We'd just be doing like late night Overwatch, and we don't necessarily care if we win because the game is so slanted in certain maps that it doesn't matter. The game doesn't matter, and you're playing quick play, so who cares, you know? And you get people who just absolutely lose their minds, or you would be like, you would win, but you would get someone on the other team who's like, oh, but I still had gold kills. I had this many kills, and you know all this other stuff. And it's like, yeah, but you lost. Like you still lost. What do you? Okay, like, and you know you're trying to talk shit, but you lost. And or we'll get people who on our team run in like window lickers by themselves, get absolutely flattened, and then be like, where's the team? And it's like, we're respawning, dude. Like you gotta wait. You gotta. What do you want me to tell you? We're this guy over here has been spamming the group up button, and you just have been ignoring him. I don't know what to tell you. So Overwatch is really bad about the trash talking. I think that's the worst game I've been in for trash talking. Halo 2 back in the day was pretty bad too because they didn't have a lot of the functions that Xbox Live has now. So you couldn't just like in the middle of a game bring your thing up and block someone or mute them or whatever you wanted to do. You had to play the whole game and get to the end, and then you could do it, which at that point,
Oh, I remember
why bother? And you get people trash talking from the other team and from your team, and it's just all this crosstalk of people just talking all this shit, and you can't do anything about it until the game is over. And then at that point, you could just leave. You know, why would you need to mute them or block them or anything? But
right. You know what? There was this. They probably haven't like the other Call of Duties since, but I remember I think it was Black Ops 3, where like they introduced this thing where like you could hear the other person that you killed on the opposite team for like 3 seconds after you killed them. So like you just like be killing somebody and all of a sudden like you hear them say, "God damn it, motherfucker," and then like they break off. It was the best shit ever. It was like my favorite feature. I loved like mass slaughtering in that game.
I just have it set so that I can't get messages from people unless they're my friends. So when I play killer, I won't get messages from random people that are mad. I've gotten a friend request like twice, 2 or 3 times from people that wanted to talk shit, and actually I think 2 of those times it was a killer sending me a message.
I think
that's only like a console issue with them.
I think the most ridiculous shit talking I got, like ridiculous and just like not like egregious, but it just nonsensical, was when we were playing Smite a lot, and I was playing Smite on console, and for a long time the console and the PC version were not crossplay. It was just whatever console you were on. So playing against this other team, I don't remember what the triggering event was, but this guy on the other team got really, really mad. No, it was on my team. This guy got really, really mad, and he started talking shit to me. But to do that, you know, because I had him muted, the whole team had him muted. To do that, he had to basically use a little chat pad or something in Xbox Live and send me these messages through Xbox Live talking all this shit. And I'm like, we're in the middle of a game and you're sending me like little texts on your little chat pad. Yeah, I wonder why we're losing.
Like he's your girlfriend.
Yeah, like I wonder why we're losing. It's because you're sitting here like just texting like a little girl and to talk shit to me. And I say as much, like, dude, if you spend less time like texting and playing the game, we might actually be doing better. And it's like, nope, it's your fault. It's your fault. You're the I don't even know what it was. It's always something. There's always like, if you're in the lane with the carry, it's always the tank's fault. If you're in the solo lane, it's always the mid's fault. If you're the mid, it's always the solo's fault. Like it's always something. Like, oh, that game was ridiculous because the game itself is completely unbalanced. And
yeah, it was easy to fall behind in Smite. Like if like one lane got a double kill at the beginning of the game, it's like, okay, the game's over now, and we're just gonna get slowly bled out for 50 minutes.
Yeah, it'll just take forever, but it'll still...
Like, yeah, it takes forever, and you know that the game is over, like, right away.
Yeah, and it's not even because it's impossible to come back, it's because someone on your team decided that it's over, and then they're just not going to play, you know?
Yeah, it's how MOBAs go, man.
Yeah, there's no backfill like in Overwatch, so you just have to...
League of Legends tends to be like that, too.
You just have to sit through it, and it sucks. It's
Actually, I played League with Abby last week, I think, or something. I played a couple games with her.
Yeah, I saw she was playing.
Yeah, she's been playing. I played a couple with her, and I picked one of my favorite champions because I was like, I just want to play something that I'll be comfortable on because I haven't played in a long time, so we'll see how it goes. And I absolutely annihilated the enemy team both games with her, and apparently she is like super powerful right now. So people bitched at me from the other team about picking somebody that was meta and really strong and being like, oh yeah, these 2 items are like obviously super powerful on her. I'm like, dude, I just picked what they recommended to me in the store, dude. I don't fucking know what I do.
I don't know what any of this stuff does. Why
it's
are
like
you giving me a hard time about it?
Bitch at us on Overwatch or bitch at us on Smite. I'm like, dude, I don't fucking play this game, man. I just pick the items that they tell me to buy and see how it goes, man. Like,
wow. That's crazy. Yeah, I haven't played Smite in a while. I played it for a little while. I picked it up with my sister's fiance, and it was all right. It was okay. I mean, it's still broken. The characters who have been broken are still broken. You know, it's not like it got better or anything.
Yeah, it sucks because the game's actually like super cool.
Yeah, it's a cool game and it's fun to play, but you've got those characters that are just super broken. You still got I mean, ever since it came out, I want to say you've had that Odin Zeus combo, and it's still a big thing. People are still like rolling that Odin Zeus combo, and it's ridiculous. Like I can't believe that it's a thing that still happens.
Believe it.
Believe it, dude. That's right.
I'm going to go eat something hot.
I probably should go eat something too. Actually, we've been kind of chilling here. We've been chilling here for a couple hours. We've had people kind of come in and out. I know some people were gonna come back, and we're not gonna be here. It's like as soon as they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna go get something. I'll be right back," and then we all just got together. And we're like, "Hey, fuck that guy. Let's get out of here." Like,
true.
I feel bad because I like hanging out with Gage. I like hanging out with Donovan. I don't know what happened to Donovan. He wasn't feeling well earlier, so the fact that he showed up at all.
Donovan was funny as fuck.
Oh yeah, he's funny. Like if you don't follow him on Twitter, you really should. Like
No, I don't. You should drop me his Twitter.
Yeah, let me get it now while I'm thinking about it. Otherwise,
I don't know how he found me. I don't think I have any like social media link.
Oh, that was Gage that found your stuff, and I think you posted something in the chat at one point, and he probably in my server, and you.
Oh, okay.
He probably clicked on it. There he is. There's Donovan. Just gotta get his link. All right, so I will put his thing in. I'll send it to you.
Lobby?
Yeah, I can put it in the main lobby. It's fine. Or actually, I'll put it in the work area because that's the thing. I'll put it in the. Yeah, you have access to the workshop there. I'll put it in there. Yeah. There he is. That's him. Funny dude. I like him. But he wasn't feeling well today, so I mean he probably just had to dip, and he usually doesn't announce it when he just has to go, so either that or I'm just that boring. Maybe he doesn't like me.
He likes Gigi Allen. I can't follow him.
What? He what?
I can't. He likes Gigi Allen.
Oh, I don't. All right, so you got to take a lot of the stuff he says with a grain of salt, because there's a lot of stuff on his Twitter he says just to make people mad. So I don't know.
Fair enough.
And he's also following a lot of people specifically to mock them. So there's also that. It's a tough thing. Yeah, you'll see a pattern emerge if you follow him for like a week. You'll start to see that pattern emerge, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, okay. So yeah. Anyway, I guess if we're all hungry, we can all bounce out of here. I don't know how many people came in because OBS is.
I ate while we were on here.
OBS is never accurate with the follower count or the people in chat count. For a long time, it said there were only 4 people in here, when I know for a fact that there was more than that because they were chatting. So, yeah. I don't know how many people were here. Thank everybody who did show up, who was invisible and I can't see you. Thank you to everyone who came in to chat with me. I know, Sam, you weren't super chatty, but I'm still really happy to have you here. I always like having you around. I liked having Gage in here, Donovan. It was great. We had a lot of fun little stories. And I want to do this again more often now that I got a cool little fire GIF to use, and I'm pointing at it like you can see like what I'm pointing at, but you can't. It's a nice little GIF, replaces my actual fire outside because it was way too cold to do it outside. In the summer I might try to do it outside, but I don't know, probably not. It sucks outside. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming in, and I will see you next time.